is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Limited Resources. This episode number 822. My name is Marshall. I'm one of your Limited Resources, and joining me on the line all the way from Denver, Colorado, it's Luis Scott-Vargas. Luis, you ready to talk some rares and mythic rares for Spider-Man?
Oh yeah, I'm as excited as you are. I actually really do like the flavor of this set. I think Spider-Man's pretty cool. I grew up reading comics and, Venom. I actually like Venom more than Spider-Man. I thought Venom was
you're
badass.
One of those people? Wow.
Oh yeah.
A real anti-hero.
Carnage though, Carnage not my favorite. He was a little too much for me. But, got into our hands, our paws on this set and gotten to play a little. So let's go through the rares and mythics. Let's see how this looks.
Yeah, we're going to go through every single rare, mythic rare, and yes, all of the cards off of the bonus sheet on the show today. Given the nature of Spider-Man, how it's this weird split thing where the paper cards have one name and photo or and artwork, and then the online versions have another. I am going to be reading both of those names up front. And if you're viewing on YouTube, you'll also see both card images just so we can start to get our head around, oh, that's this one, because we've never had this before. So you will get both of those today as well. Before we jump into those cards, we wanted to say thank you to everybody who supports us on Patreon. It's patreon.com/limited resources. Patreon is a place where you can go to support your favorite content creators, whether they make podcasts like the ones we do or music, artwork, videos, whatever. And it's a great way to support your favorite content creators directly. And we really appreciate everybody who does do that. Again, it's patreon.com/limited resources. You can also, or we also want to say thank you to our sponsor, Ultimate Guard. They make the best stuff. If you got a box of cards coming your way and you know you're going to need to protect those cards, whether it's at the card level with sleeves, the deck level with deck boxes, the collection level with binders and bigger boxes, backpacks, stuff like that, you're going to find it over at Ultimate Guard. They use premium materials and have really well thought out designs. That's the part I really appreciate about Ultimate Guard, is that there's just little differences that they make across the board that make you go, somebody really thought about this. This is the detail stuff that I really appreciate. And then when it comes to quality materials, it really shines through. It also means that they last longer, which is kind of better for everybody. You can also get cool branded stuff from them, with artwork and IPs that you really like. You can find all of their products over at ultimateguard.com, and you can pick up their products at your favorite online retailer or local game store. Thank you, Ultimate Guard. Luis, before we jump in, we are going to be employing the exact same grading scale that we use on the Commons and Uncommon show here in the Mythics and Rares.
Yeah, we use an A through F grading scale with 2 subgrades, and we're going to start with the A's. The bombs, the game winners, the cards that are good in many situations, especially when behind, and just the best cards in the set. Cards like Quantum Riddler or Ouroboros. And this is the rare mythic review. See a lot of A's in here.
Yeah.
B's are cards that actively pull you towards their colors, or in this case, pair of colors. Just solid removal, efficient creatures. Kind of what we're talking about is kind of like the best commons and good uncommons. Cards like Station Monitor or Mono with Circuit Feeder. Definitely see some B's in the rare and mythic review as well. C's are just playable. The Pawns of Limited, they're pretty interchangeable. They're cards that you don't feel any particular way about playing. You don't feel bad. You don't feel good. And overall, you're not going to see a lot of C's. Rares tend to cluster on both sides, where they're either A's or B's and they're really good, or they're just like completely unplayable. There's not a lot of average rares. We're talking cards like Bombard or Thawbringer. D's are cards that are sometimes playable, but you'd really prefer not to run them. You're kind of unhappy if you have too many of these in your deck, or really any. Cards like Cavron Skywarden or Cloud Sculpt Technician. We'll see some of those today too, but not a ton. And then F's, cards that are unplayable in virtually all scenarios. Cards with incredible mana costs or just do nothing in limited. Cards like Cosmoglyph. You'll definitely see some F's in the Rare Mythic review. The 2 subgrades are Sideboard. These are cards you wouldn't main deck, but can be pretty good out of the board. Again, not a category that gets a lot of love in Rares and Mythics. But this last category, Build Around, we'll definitely see some of those. These are cards that on their own don't do anything or don't do that much. But if you build around them, if you give them the proper support, they can be the best cards in your deck.
All right, well, let's jump into the cards here. We're going to start with red, which is what we started the commons and uncommons with as well. And our first card up is Spinneret and Spiderling, otherwise known as Rizna the Spider Crowned. This is red for a 1/2 legendary spider human hero at rare. And it says, whenever you attack with 2 or more spiders, put a +1/+1 counter on Spinneret and Spiderling. And whenever Spinneret and Spiderling deals 4 or more damage, exile the top card of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. Now, that's a pretty scary 1-drop.
Oh, definitely. A 1-drop spider is also just not that bad. In the set, there's a lot of things that key off spiders. It's good with web slinging because it's a cheap creature. And know when it deals 4 or more damage, it's not to the opponent. It's just in general. So if this becomes a 4/5 and they block it, you still get this trigger. It's really nice with fight spells or bite spells. So I like Spinneret and Spiderling. I would give it a B. I think that a lot of the times you'll just be happy to put this card in your deck. Obviously, you have other spiders, but I drafted a red-green deck earlier, and I definitely would have just played this card.
Yeah, for sure. I like B for Spinneret and Spiderling as well. Next up is Gwen Stacy. This is also known as Nia Skysail Storyteller. This is 1 and a red for a 2/1 legendary human performer hero. She's mythic. And it says, when Gwen Stacy enters, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card for as long as you control this creature. Very nice. And then it's actually double face card here too. You can pay 2 blue, white, red to transform Gwen Stacy at sorcery speed. And if you do, she becomes Ghost Spider or Nia Fabled Sky Climber. Which actually, that's interesting. So it has a cost? Whatever. So it is a 4/4 legendary spider human hero with fine vigilance and haste. And it says, whenever you play a land from exile or cast a spell from exile, put a +1/+1 counter on Ghost Spider. And it says, remove 2 counters from Ghost Spider, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn.
So it has a cost because you can just cast the backside.
You can just cast it. And the other side does cost the same that it costs to flip, which is 2 blue, white, red.
Right.
So you can just choose.
You can play this in a deck that can't flip it as just 1 and a red 2/1 that exiles the top card, like kind of Abbot of Carol Keeps. But it's as long as you control this. So you'll probably get a chance to play because you don't have to put this in combat. Obviously, they could kill it. But I would play that just to begin with. That's actually a B just to begin with.
Definitely.
2 mana 2/1 that mostly draws you a card. And then if you can flip it into Ghost Spider, I mean, this card is a beating. 4/4 Flying Vigilance Haste, and then it just gets cards out of nowhere, and you get to continue exiling and just fuels itself. So if you can play the Jeskai part of it, the blue, white, red part, then I would say Ghost Spider's like an A-. But even the mono red version is just a B. Also, what you'll often do is maybe like play this in like a red-green deck, but have a couple random sources of the other colors and just kind of hope to get lucky, which I don't think is completely unreasonable. I would play a random duel or two, or you have like supportive parents that can add any color, and you could kind of get there on this.
That's right. And then the middle clause, though, not going to happen that much, right? The play a land from exile or cast a spell from exile. What triggers
Except for
that?
the last part, which is remove 2 counters, exile the top card, and you can play it this turn. So like it kind of just continues that way. Also, if you cast Gwen Stacy the front side, exile the top card, then flip it, then play that card, it'll get a +1/+1 counter.
Okay,
too.
that's cool. Wow, yeah, great card. So B and up into the A-, at least a B+ to A- territory for Ghost Spider if you can flip it. Next up is Shadow of the Goblin, which is known as Quint's Insight. This is 1 and a blue for an enchantment at rare. It has unreliable visions. At the beginning of your first main phase, discard a card if you do draw a card. And it also has Undying Vengeance. Whenever you play a land or cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, this enchantment deals 1 damage to each opponent. That's kind of cool.
I think in a Mayhem deck, I'd be pretty happy with just, an enchantment that lets me rummage every turn and then gets some extra pings. It is only to opponents, so you can't just be picking off creatures.
Yeah.
This looks like a build around B to me. I would play it in Black-Red Mayhem. I don't think I'd really play it outside of that.
Yeah, the first clause on its own isn't worth, I don't think, the card. But yeah, if you're fully Mayhemmed up, then all of a sudden it becomes that way. Interesting. That's a cool build around, though. I like seeing that here. Next is Spider Punk, which on Through the Omenpaths is known as Kraza the Swarm as 1. This is 1 and a red for a legendary spider human hero at rare. It's a 2/1 with Riot, which means it enters with your choice of a +1/+1 counter on it or haste. You can pick. It says other spiders you control have Riot. Spells and abilities can't be countered, and damage can't be prevented.
So most of this doesn't matter. The spells and abilities part and the damage part, I don't think that's going to come up in a typical limited game. But first of all, I'd always just play 2 mana 2/1 Riot. That's a 2 mana 3/2 or a 2 mana 2/1 haste. Those are both fine.
Yeah.
And then giving other spiders Riot is pretty good. Again, there's a decent amount of spiders in the set, unsurprisingly. So I like B for Spider Punk. I think I'm just happy to play this card always.
Thinking the same. Next up is Electro Assaulting Battery. Assaulting Battery? I get it.
Assaulting Battery.
Yeah. Through the Omenpaths version is Irritable Instructor. This is 1 red for a 2/3 legendary human villain at rare with flying. It says you don't lose unspent red mana as steps and phases end. And whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, add red. And when Electro leaves the battlefield, you may pay X. When you do, he deals X damage to target player. So just to be clear, you don't lose unspent red mana as steps and phases ends, means that it just stays in your mana pool forever. Like just their turn, your turn, it doesn't matter. It just kind of floats there until you decide to use it, or in this case, until Electro dies, and then you dump it all into this one last shot. Pretty sweet.
I played against this, and you can kind of get an awkward spot where they just leave up like 7 mana and you can't attack into this. Because if it dies, they kill you. Obviously, it's not always going to work out that way, but a 3 mana 2/3 flyer with a bunch of upsides, totally solid card. I would give Electro a B, and I would just put it in my deck. You want to be more aggressive to make it better, obviously, since you're just doing like face damage, but I wouldn't even worry that much about trying to stack up instants and sorceries. I think that's an ancillary bonus. I don't think that's the main part of the card.
And then just like play pattern wise, if you have Electro on the battlefield and you have red mana that you didn't use, you just start tapping it, right? Like on their end step.
Yes.
If you have a mountain,
you can charge it up. They say go, you have 2 mountains on tap. You just tap for 2 red and then it starts charging up, and it eventually becomes way too big to fail. Like at that point, if you have 7 or 8 mana, 9 mana, 10 mana, it also leaves the battlefield. There's no real way around it. So this card can definitely get pretty dangerous.
And you can also spend it on whatever you want. Like you can just dump that 2 mana in your pool. So pretty cool. And a really like that to me is a very, very cool design for Electro. What did we give it? B plus?
I would give it a B, but actually B plus sounds fine. Like this card gets pretty dangerous.
Extremely annoying. Next is J. Jonah Jameson, the boss man. This is also Laszlo, Enthusiastic Accuser. So this is 2 and a red for a legendary human citizen. It's a 2/2 at rare. So 3 mana 2/2. And when it enters, suspect up to 1 target creature. A suspected creature has menace and can't block. And it says, whenever a creature you control with menace attacks, create a treasure token.
Yeah, this card's pretty good. If you can go 2-drop into Jonah Jameson, like it's kind of like you built your own Magda right there, except you also make your creature kind of unblockable, or at least very hard to block. So if you go 2-drop into Jonah Jameson, attack, get a treasure, next turn attack, get a treasure, you already kind of paid the card back, and more. So I would like B for this. I guess everyone's been getting a B so far, but it's just a very good card in like an aggressive red deck. It is important that you have a 2-drop, or the hope of having a 2-drop to play this into. Otherwise,
how long does the creature stay suspected?
Just until it leaves play, basically.
What about if J. Jonah Jameson leaves play? Does it stay suspected?
Yeah. It should just stay suspected.
Okay. I wish I got like a counter or something, but that's fine. So B for J. Jonah Jameson, pointing fingers. Next is...
He can suspect himself too, funnily enough.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Next is Maximum Carnage, which probably has Carnage on it. It's also Lava Brink repels the Magmaloth. Really? This is 4 and a red for an enchantment saga. I like that at rare. And it says, as usual, as this saga enters and after your draw step, you add a lore counter, you sacrifice it after chapter 3. This one has 3 chapters. The first chapter is until your next turn, each creature attacks each combat if able and attacks a player other than you if able. Little multiplayer nod there. Chapter 2, it adds 3 red mana. That kind of stinks. And then chapter 3 is that this saga deals 5 damage, to each opponent. Wow, this card's not very good, is it?
No, this looks like an F to me. The first
Yeah.
chapter does nothing. In fact, if you play it pre-combat, you actually are forcing all your creatures to attack. So definitely don't do that. Adding 3 red isn't that much and does eventually deals 5, which is the part you want the most probably, and you have to wait 2 turns. So I would just give Maximum Carnage an F. It's not for 1v1 games.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a thing, right, to like play this second main phase and then like live this dream of having them attack into your big, like that's just not how Magic works.
If you have a better
right?
board than them, sure, you can spend 5 mana to maybe kill a creature or 2.
Yeah.
It's just
you'd rather just have it do 5 damage to a creature at sorcery speed and call it a day. Didn't quite maximize Carnage there, but you know,
not so much. I can see how this lives up to its name in a multiplayer game, though.
Yeah, it probably would be very fun or funny. Last red card is Spider-Verse. This is, and it's also called Arachnomania on Through the Omenpaths. It's 3 red for an enchantment. This one's mythic rare. It says the legend rule doesn't apply to spiders you control. I never like it when they do this, by the way, Luis, when they cite magic rules like that. And then it says
wall breaking breaks you out of your immersion.
A little on the nose for me. When you cast, and it also says whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, you may copy it. If you do, you may choose new targets for the copy. If the copy is a permanent spell, it gains haste. Do this only once each turn. Man, that is powerful if you have a way to, fire stuff off from not your hand or whatever.
Yeah, so you need to... Mayhem works nicely with this. It's I think, a really great Mayhem build around. It's really, really strong if you're Mayheming. And then there's some cards, like Gwen Stacy or whatever, that like exile a card and you can play it. So far, this card, in my experience, has been pretty hard to use. I would give it like a build around like A, in the sense that if you do get there, this card is super powerful. Like
very high ceiling.
It's a little bit like Double Vision or whatever that card was. The like 3 red copy the first spell you play each turn.
Yeah,
like that card was really strong if you could manage to make it work. Probably actually build around B. I'm downgrading it because it almost never is going to do anything the turn you cast it.
Yeah, but this is a classic 5 mana do nothing enchantment. Like it hits and literally does Zippo. I mean, it's probably terrible, right? Like I would assume if you fast forwarded.
Yes, the average, the win rate on this card, once we get enough data from 17 lands, if enough people play the set to give data, then some of the rares and mythics, you don't see that often. It takes a while for those to actually populate. Like,
especially these sketchy ones.
It's also a little bit of a beat. I think this card is pretty much not a card you should take, but I think in a Mayhem deck, I would try it, and I bet it could be good in sometimes.
Totally. I mean, this is an awesome build around. This is one that, lets you try to live a dream, and if you do get to turn the corner with it, it will pay you back. But I would almost guarantee that your deck is just worse having it in it, almost regardless of configuration. Okay, that'll move us to green. Our first card up is Radioactive Spider, like the one that bit him. It's also called Fate Weaver. Interesting. The artwork on Fate Weaver might even be better. Also, it's the one on the background for Arena. It is green for a 1/1 spider. That's it. Just spider. It's rare. It has reach and death touch. Beautiful. And it has Fateful Bite. You can pay 2 and sacrifice it to search your library for a spider hero card, reveal it, put it in your hand, and then shuffle and activate at sorcery speed. That is a great card. Yeah, why sorcery? That is rare. This card's awesome.
Really cool card, though.
Yeah.
This is the kind of card I like to see. It's actually pretty simple in terms of how it plays. Super flavorful. Looks like it'll be fun, powerful, does all the kind of checks all the boxes. So
it does.
I mean, I like B for Radioactive Spider. It's still not an A-level card, but 1/1 Reach Death Touch is totally fine. Dragon Sniper was great in Dragons of Tarkir or Dragonstorm, whatever. And getting to cash this in for maybe one of the best cards in your deck, if you have one of the good spider rares, then yeah, I like it. I like B for Radioactive Spider. You can certainly play it without anything to go get, but it obviously does get better if you have it.
Much better with. Yeah, that's a really cool card. Next up is Miles Morales. This is 1 and a green. Well, so this is one of those double facers. So this is 1 and a green for a 1/2 legendary human citizen hero. On Through the Omenpaths, it's known as Kren Undercity Dreamer. And it says, when Miles Morales enters, put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. Wow, on a 2-drop, huh? And then you can transform it for 3 green, red, white at sorcery speed, and then it becomes Ultimate Spider-Man, also known as Kren of the Spider Brood, that has that same mana cost, 6 mana total, 3 red, green, white. And this is a 4/3 legendary spider human hero with first strike and haste, and it has camouflage. You can pay 2 mana to put a +1/+1 counter on Ultimate Spider-Man. He gains hexproof and becomes colorless until end of turn. Wow. And whenever you attack, double the number of each kind of counter on each spider and legendary creature you control. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Miles Morales has a lot going on.
Wow. That is a dope card.
So, I mean, even without the transforming part or the Naya part, 2 mana for 3/4 worth of stats. Like, are you kidding? Like,
that's nuts.
And you can put a counter on itself, so you only need one other creature to get the full benefit of that. And then, of course, if you do transform into the 4/3 first strike haste that you can just continuously pay 2 mana to give counters, then when it attacks doubles the number of counters, like.
And also it's unkillable, by the way.
Yeah. I would just give Miles Morales an A. Like, yes, easy. You should strive to try to flip it, but also red, green, white, a lot easier to flip than Jeskai like Gwen Stacy, because you can just be red, green and have a white source, or white, green and have a red source. There's 2 color pairs that feed into it. So A for Miles Morales, I imagine one of the best cards in the set.
Next one is Spider Ham Peter Porker. In Through the Omenpaths, it's known as Tarantusk Unwisely Awoken. Spider-Man Peter Porker. All right. It's 1 and a green for a 2/2 legendary spider boar hero at rare. And when Spider Ham enters, you create a food token, and it has Animal Mayhem, other spiders, boars, bats, bears, birds, cats, dogs, frogs, jackals, lizards, mice, otters, rabbits, raccoons, squirrels, turtles, and wolves. Squirrels, turtles, and wolves. You control get +1/+1. Did they just try to list every
but also
one?
Just every animal you could consider.
Yeah. Did they just try to go for literally every?
It's going to be a beating. I haven't really looked at it, but what if there's like animals in Magic that just don't have that don't get this bonus? Certainly, there's none in the set. I would imagine every animal in the set is getting pumped, but I mean, look, I'll play a 2 mana 2/2 that gives you a food and probably pumps like half the creatures in my deck or something, or a third of the creatures in my deck. I don't know.
It is funny the order that they put this in, because they put spiders up front and then it's, I think, just alphabetical
after that.
Yeah, but they really did a good job of not burying the lead there, because like spiders is going to be the most important one for this set for sure. I mean, this card seems good.
Yeah, it's definitely good. Give it a B+, probably.
B+, yeah, depending on how many other spiders you got.
It's only 2 mana. You get a 2/2, you get a food, and it pumps a lot of the stuff in your deck.
Totally. Next is Strength of Will, which is also Strength of Will on Through the Omenpaths. It's 1 and a green for an instant at rare. It says, until end of turn, target creature you control gains indestructible, and whenever this creature is dealt damage, put that many +1/+1 counters on it. Oh, man. That's kind of cool. I have never seen a card like that.
So you set this up by like blocking their 4/4, and you're like, boom, now I have a 6/6.
I like the idea. The card that came to my mind with this is Gene Pollinator, right? Because you use it in the early part of the game, and then at some point it often chump blocks something big. But if you have a Strength of Will, that kind of like turns your no longer useful 1-drop, into something that is actually like, it would be what in this case it would be a 7/8. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like the cards that kind of lose their value over the course of the game. Interesting.
Yeah. My main problem is it's just basically a pump spell that like you don't win the combat, you just don't lose your creature, and then if they had a big thing, you get a +4/+4 +5/+5. But like, how much worse is this than like an aura for 2 mana that gives +4/+4? Like, I think it is worse than that, and that's not a card you'd be jumping out of your seat to play.
Is
really.
It worse?
Like,
I mean, this does give indestructible. Like you do get to just save your guy sometimes. Just 1-for-1 it. Yeah,
but if you're using it to stop like a targeted removal that isn't damage based, then then it's not that exciting. You just saved your thing. It is really good if they cast like a deal 4 and you're like, boom, counter it, and my creature gets +4/+4. So the card probably is good. I think it's probably going to be a little worse than people think. Like, I think this is more like a C+.
I have it like a C. Yeah, C+. Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of an interesting
When it's good, it'll be really good.
Yeah.
Like, when you land a good Strength of Will, it's going to completely dominate the game.
But when you need to attack for 2 more points of damage and your stupid Strength of Will doesn't do that, you're going to go, I could have just put like any other card in my deck.
Block your thing, cast Strength of Will, they kill your thing in response. And it's like,
this like, what am I doing with my life? Next up is Sandman Shifting Scoundrel, known as the Scouring Storm Soul. This is 1 green for a star legendary sand elemental villain at rare. Its power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control. It can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less, and you can pay 3 green to return this card and target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped.
Yeah, Sandman is no joke. I mean, this is not a 3-mana 3/3. This is more like a 3-mana 6/6. Like, but like obviously it starts out at 3 and you play it on turn 3, but this gets bigger pretty fast, and then it's really hard to kill and block. This just looks great to me. Note you do have to have a land.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, because it targets on both. It is required, but there's an Evolving Wilds in the set. There's some self mill. Also, milling this with self mill is just incredible.
Yeah,
so
especially if you get a land.
I would give Sandman an A, just a straight up A. Like, this is a 3-mana, like 5/5 to 7/7 and over the course of the game, and just is hard to block and comes back pretty easily. Like, you don't have to do anything for this to be great.
Yeah, I mean, I think my only hang up on it would just be that you do need to do some work to get that land into the yard. Like, there's going to be games where you can't bring it back.
Yeah, but I think that on what is effectively a 3-mana, like 5/5, 6/6, whatever you want to call it.
Pretty dang good. And they can't chump
it. They can't even chump, yeah. So I like Sandman a lot. I think this card's really strong. Also, if you ever self-mill this with, say, the next card we see, like you're just going to win the game so easily.
I think I'd go like B+ on Sandman, like just in case, and maybe build around A if you definitely can get lands into your yard. Next one is Craven's Last Hunt, known as A Trail of Teacups. This is another saga. It's a rare enchantment. It's 3 and a green, and this one also has 3 chapters. Chapter 1 is mill 5 cards. When you do, this saga deals damage equal to the greatest power among creature cards in your graveyard to target creature. That's interesting. And then chapter 2 is target creature you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn. And then chapter 3 is return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Ooh, I like. This has potential to be a nice 2-for-1.
Oh yeah, this almost always will be, because it's just not hard to nug, especially since it's not mill 5 and then choose among those 5. As long as you've had a creature die, this is always going to deal damage. It's not going to come up much, but weirdly, the templating on this set, there's a couple cards that you would expect to be opponent controls. If you have no creatures, or if they have no creatures in play and you play this, it's going to deal damage to one of your creatures. That is not an optional ability. So I don't think that's a huge issue, because you're just not casting this if they have no creatures. But just bear in mind, if your opponent casts this and you like have a bounce spell, you could get clever, bounce your own creature, and then force them to nug their own creature.
Yeah, like, that's interesting.
I think that could come up.
How does the targeting work on the first one with when you target?
So you mill 5, and then when you do, the trigger comes and you get to target something.
So you'll already
how much
know.
Damage it's dealing. Yeah.
Okay. You don't have to guess.
But you don't choose. It just does it equal to the greatest power, but you know what that is. The second mode is just kind of whatever, might open up an attack, but then the third mode gets you a card back. So I like A- for Craven's Last Hunt. This is not that far off of like a Flame Tongue Kavu of sorts, obviously.
Right. I mean, that's a lot of value.
But there's a lot of value here.
Can you imagine that turn 4, you have a decent like 2-3 curve and they play Craven's Last Hunt. You're just like, how am I, like, this whole mid game is just a disaster. Mill Sandman. Yeah. Next is
who by the way, will read in the graveyard. I think will have the stats. So
definitely. Oh, nice. Yeah. Next up is Lizard Connor's Curse, which is King of the Cold Blood Curse. And this is 2 green for a 5/5 legendary lizard villain at rare. It's got trample. So 4 mana 5/5 trample with lizard formula. When it enters, up to 1 other target creature loses all abilities and becomes a green lizard creature with pace, power, and toughness 4/4.
Yeah, I mean, you get a 4 mana 5/5 trample, and you get to either shrink one of their things, though that's not going to be the most typical use is just turning one of your 1/1s or 2/2s into a 4/4. But if they have a 6/6 flyer or something, you can just target it and make it a 4/4, no abilities. That's not bad either.
This is a huge swing. Because like you'll play this, have a 5/5 trample, and a lot of times, like you said, just attack right now with a creature that wasn't going to be able to attack. This also feels like one of those, fragile, right? Like if they kill this at the right time, you could lose both of your creatures.
Well,
does it just stay a 4/4?
It's just permanent. Yeah, it has nothing to do with this being in play.
That's really good.
This isn't one of those. So.
Wow.
I think this card's just great. It's an A. Like,
yeah, that's an A.
You don't even need the lizard formula to feel like you're getting a good deal on. That's a pretty good flexible thing.
It is. I mean, it just so often your 2-drop is just going to be like 4/4 attack now. Like that's crazy. Right. Last green card is Web of Life and Destiny, which is Through the Omenpaths. Oh, well, there we go. It's 6 green for a mythic rare enchantment with Convoke, which means you can tap your creatures to pay mana to help cast this spell. It says at the beginning of combat on your turn, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature card from among them on the battlefield, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Wow. That is legit though.
I literally just had this in a draft, and every game I drew it was amazing. Because you just cast it for like 6 mana, because you just tap 2 creatures. But turn 6, you play this, you immediately, beginning of combat, get a creature into play without spending mana, and it just happens every turn. You win the game very quickly. It basically draws you a creature plus the mana to play it every single turn. Like,
and right away,
you can technically miss, but you know what makes this card good? Having lots of creatures. It helps convoke it, and it helps work when it's in play. So draft this card and play like 16 creatures, and you'll be fine.
I can't believe that you get it at the beginning of combat. I would have thought
they like to juice their cool cards, and this one definitely is. I would give this an A. I think this is one of the best cards in the set.
Yeah, Web of Life and Destiny.
It's also just like you play against like a red-black deck that can never get this off the board. Like they should just concede, basically.
Right.
Like they have to kill you really quickly, or like it's not happening.
That's amazing. We'll move to white now. Our first card is Rent is Due, which is known as Confessor's Bindings. This is white for an enchantment at rare, and it says at the beginning of your end step, you may tap 2 untapped creatures and or treasures you control. If you do, draw a card. Otherwise, sacrifice this enchantment. Wow. Getting pressed. That's interesting. So yeah, that's crazy. So you're locked into just doing this every turn or you lose the ability to do so. That's cool. But we can't really afford to tap 2 creatures every turn, right? Like,
well, it depends. I mean, if you can make a deck with a bunch of like, city pigeons and like cheap creatures and get this out, it kind of fuels itself because you're like, tap 2 creatures, draw a card, next turn play 2 things, tap 2, draw a card, play 2. Like you will run them over pretty quickly as you flood the board because you're just drawing 2 cards a turn. But obviously there'll be plenty of games where you just can't cast this. But what I like is that it's so cheap that if it's bad, maybe just wait a little bit and then later in the game it'll become good. And if you draw like 3 cards off this, it's pretty strong. That said, I bet this card probably has a pretty low win rate. Like I bet that we'll see that this card does not do that well. I could see it being good if you draft the right deck around it. And if you can make some treasures, that helps too.
Treasures would make it a very good thing, but
my guess is green-white is the home for this. Like creatures can, you have green commons that make treasures and whatnot, and maybe you have enough cheap things. So I like Rent is Due as a builder on B. You can't just put this in a random deck, but it's pretty good when you get it going.
Yeah, I mean, I would give it an F. But I like the build around grade for, I make treasures or whatever. Next is Origin of Spider-Man, which is a most helpful weaver on Through the Omenpaths. It's 1 and a white for a saga at rare, and it has 3 chapters. Chapter 1, create a 2/1 green spider creature token with reach. Chapter 2, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It becomes a legendary spider hero in addition to its other types. And Chapter 3 is target creature you control gains double strike until end of turn.
Look, you're kind of already paid off by the first 2 chapters. You get a 2/1 for 2 mana, and then you get a counter, and it becomes a spider hero, which is even better. And then the 3rd chapter, it's like, oh yeah, you get to whack them for 6 damage or 8 damage. So
this is definitely worth a card.
I like B for Origin of Spider-Man. You're never going to be down on this card.
Yeah, just seems totally like you're getting your mana's worth out of it. Next up is Peter Parker. And in Through the Omenpaths, his name is Surus Spider Silk Innovator. This is 1 and a white for a 0/1 legendary human scientist hero at Mythic Rare. When Peter Parker enters, create a 2/1 green spider creature token with reach. Now, this also is one of the double-faced cards, so you can pay 1 green, blue, white to transform it at sorcery speed, or you can cast Amazing Spider-Man for that same amount, which is Surus Silk Tech Vanguard. And this is a 4/4 legendary spider human hero with vigilance and reach, and each legendary spell you cast that's 1 or more colors has web slinging, green, white, blue. Time to swing into action, it says.
The gold ability is just not good. I don't think you're going to be playing too many legends for 3 colors and web slinging. Like, how often is that really going to be?
Right. And it doesn't enable that, right? Like,
it even
it
has
doesn't
vigilance, so it definitely does.
Right. It has vigilance itself because they were going for the like heroic, staunch, vibe, which is cool, but like, okay. And then it doesn't do anything regarding making the mana that you would need for a 3-color web sling or tapping creatures.
So
I kind of like it still, but
2 mana for a 2/1 green spider and an 0/1. That's okay. I mean, if you can get Peter Parker through, he's good at web sling. You attack with Peter Parker and then web swim him back with something else and keep making 2/1 spiders.
That's cool.
Mostly, I think this card's like a C+, where I would just give it a B-.
Yeah.
You just play it as a 2 mana, 2/1 plus an 0/1, and that's like a decent amount of material.
Yeah.
And then maybe sometimes you flip it, but I don't think that's going to happen too often. This card's not that impressive, which is a shame. Peter Parker, I would imagine you want to be one of your cooler cards. I just think that the giving your other legends web sling is such a weak ability.
That is
like, what's going on with that?
I don't know. I was going to ask you, like, is he gathering heroes to fight the fight? Like he's the middleman? I don't know. Next is Spectacular Spider-Man, which is known as Adamai of the Silk Shoots. This is 1 and a white for a 3/2 legendary spider human hero at rare with flash. So 2 mana, 3/2 flash, 2 activated abilities. 1, Spectacular Spider-Man gains flying until end of turn, or 1, sacrifice Spectacular Spider-Man. Creatures you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. All right, so he's web slinging.
The activated ability to gain flying is actually really flavorful because clearly Spider-Man doesn't just straight up fly, but you can definitely gain flying.
Right. We've seen it. He goes through the buildings.
And he likes sacrificing himself. We do know that.
Yeah.
2 mana, 3/2 flash. I mean, this card's great. I would give it a B+. It's not a bomb, but like it can protect your other things. It's a 3/2 flyer. It has flash. It just kind of does a bunch of good stuff.
Really cool card. Next up is Arachne Psionic Weaver, which is Yera and Oski Weaver and Guide. This is 2 and a white for a 3/3 legendary spider human hero at rare with web slinging white, just 1 mana. And it says, as Arachne enters, look at an opponent's hand, then choose a card type other than creature. Spells of the chosen type cost 1 more to cast. That's pretty good. That's really annoying.
Yeah, I mean, we liked the Spider-Man Web Slinger, the 3 mana 3/3 with Web Sling white.
Yeah.
This card is that, but better. You get to see their hand and you get to choose a type that messes them up more than it messes you up because it is symmetrical. But, you see their hand has 2 sorceries you don't have, and you just easily name sorcery. Or you see that their curve is like, next turn I'm going to play this enchantment. You can just name enchantment. So
right.
I like B for Arachne. It's a solid card. It's got some good stuff going on too.
Friendly Neighborhood is next. It's known as Remarkable Readings. It's 3 and a white for an enchantment aura. This is rare. It enchants a land. And when this aura enters, create 3 1/1 green and white human citizen creature tokens. And it says enchanted land has 1 tap. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each creature you control, and you can only do this at sorcery speed. Yeah, that's
Friendly
pretty
Neighborhood
good.
is great.
It's like-
No, this is better than pretty good. 4 mana for 3/1/1s, then now your land is like 1 tap, give a creature +4/+4.
yeah.
Like it's a sorcery speed, but what'll often happen is you'll play this, and then you'll just give a 1/1 +5/+5 in attack, and then they deal with it, and then you do the next one. And over the course of the game, sure, you might go down in creatures, but you might also go up in creatures. The ability could get better. I like A- for Friendly Neighborhood. This just puts a lot of stats on the board, spread out nicely, and has a pretty annoying activated ability.
It does. I like that. B+ to A- range for me too for Friendly Neighborhood. And plus a lot of times auras are considered risky, but when you do it on a land, it's really not.
Yeah, that's just whatever.
Next is With Great Power, ... which is known as Chosen by Valgavoth. This is 3 and a white for another aura. It's rare. It says enchant creature you control. An enchanted creature gets +2/+2 for each aura and equipment attached to it. And all damage that would be dealt to you is dealt to enchanted creature instead. There must also come great responsibility.
My experience with this card is it's kind of like a fog where like, they'll put it on their 4/4 and hit you, and then next turn you attack them with a bunch of stuff, their guy dies, and then they don't take any damage. There are some times this can kind of lock them out. Like you put this on a 6/6, now it's an 8/8. If they do less than 8 damage to you, it's like they did no damage to you.
Right.
So there is something to that, but you're just setting yourself up.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're just setting yourself up to get 2 for 1 when you play this card, and there's a lot of ways it goes wrong. I don't think you should put this card in your deck.
I don't think so either. Even if it said +2/+2 or +4/+4, it's still not really worth it because any bounce spell, any removal spell, any interaction really screws you over bad. Plus, you do open yourself up to some extremely awkward positions. Let's say you have that 8/8 and they attack you for 7, and you go, haha, I'm just not going to block. And then they go, cool, kill your guy. And you're like, okay, take 7. It's like, oh no, these are not good situations.
Or it's like you got this on a 6/6. They attack with 2 3/3s. You can't just eat one because if you block one,
the other
we'll finish it off. So I kind of think this is like a D. Like functionally, it's an F. Like in that I will not put it in my deck, but yeah, you could if you wanted to.
Yeah, With Great Power. Unfortunately, this card does not possess that. Last white card is Anti-Venom Horrifying Healer, which is Verilax the Haven Skin. It costs 5 white mana. White. That is a lot of white mana. It is a 5/5 legendary symbiote hero. It's mythic. And it says when Anti-Venom enters, if he was cast, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. And if damage would be dealt to Anti-Venom, prevent that damage and put that many +1/+1 counters on him. I mean, this card is obviously really powerful and awesome, but it's just, can we get over the hump on quintuple white mana to get him on the battlefield?
Yeah, that's the question, because it's an A-level card if you can cast it. It's a little bit like Zodiark, the quintuple black god from Final Fantasy.
Which we ended up liking when you could make it work.
Yeah. Mono white is probably a little harder to pull off than mono black, but you could maybe do it, or you end up with like 12, 13 white sources and only like 4 or 5 of your secondary. You have like maybe 2 or 3 cards there. So I think it's like a build around A, and the build around part is, can you get up to like 13, 14 white sources in your deck?
Exactly.
Or more, just mono white. And then Anti-Venom will be awesome. Otherwise, it'll be uncastable. So
it will
build
be
around A. Hopefully you get there.
More likely an F in practice, just because you won't be able to do that very often.
I agree.
Next is Hide on the Ceiling, the classic move, which is called Spectral Restitching. This is blue, or we're on blue, by the way. This is blue X for an instant at rare. It says exile X target artifacts and or creatures. Return the exiled cards to the battlefield under their owner's control at the beginning of the next end step.
So it's like
just temporarily bound
a temporary trick. You can also get all their creatures out of the way. Like it's a way to make all your creatures unblockable. I'm usually not really that into these cards. The likelihood of saving multiple creatures is really low. It'd take probably a sweeper. Yes, it can make all your things unblockable, but like that's just not how most games of limited play out these days.
No.
Like I feel like limited now, every creature is such a big threat that when you play a 4-drop, they probably kill it. And you play a 5-drop, they probably kill it, or they're in trouble. There's not as many, we both have 4 creatures in play sitting at looking at each other, and then you draw this and break the game open. I just don't think board stalls happen as often. That's been my experience. So I would give a Hide on the Ceiling a D.
I would too. This is just not how actual Magic you can easily imagine scenarios, and they just really rarely come up. Next is Lady Octopus, inspired inventor known as Murata Neuron Hacker. This is blue for a 0/2 legendary human scientist villain at rare. Whenever you draw your first or second card each turn, put an ingenuity counter on Lady Octopus. Then you can tap it to, you may cast an artifact spell from your hand with mana value less than or equal to the number of ingenuity counters on Lady Octopus without paying its mana cost. It's a lot of jumping through hoops to make mana for artifacts, but okay.
Card, it could be really cool in a format that's not this one. So I would give Lady Octopus an F.
I would too.
It's a clearly powerful card.
Yeah.
It gets a counter every turn and sometimes gets 2, and then you start casting artifacts for free, just a 1 mana card. Like, I'm kind of intrigued, but not for limited.
Not
F
for limited.
for
F for that. Next is Hydro-Man, Fluid Felon, known as Bellion the Parched. This is blue for a 2/2 legendary elemental villain at rare. It says whenever you cast a blue spell, if Hydro-Man is a creature, he gets +1/+1 until end of turn. And at the beginning of your end step, untap Hydro-Man until your next turn, he becomes a land and gains tap, add blue. And it notes that he's not a creature during that time.
Yeah, this is a funny card. It's like an extra island on their turn. So like if you have counters or instants, it's like, kind of free.
Yeah.
But it also is just
untap.
a blue 2/2, and like it doesn't get counters. It just gets pumped until end of turn when you cast it. So I think if you have a lot of islands in your deck, 9 or 10 islands, this card's like a C+. And if you don't, you probably shouldn't play it.
So it can't block.
It can never block, no.
We'll go C on Hydro-Man, Fluid Felon. Next is Norman Osborn, known as Gobin Gene Splice Savant. This is 1 and a blue for a 1/1 legendary human scientist villain. This one's mythic rare, and yes, it is double face card. It says Norman Osborn can't be blocked. Sneaky. And whenever Norman Osborn deals combat damage to a player, he connives, which is draw a card, discard a card, and if it's an online card, you get a +1/+1 counter on him. You can transform him for 1 blue, black, red, or cast him for that much, and he is, you guessed it, Green Goblin. On Through the Omenpaths, he's Fleam Gobin's creation. So Green Goblin is
you have no idea how big of a meme Fleam is. Like
Fleam is a meme?
That's underselling it. Fleam is like become the most popular character in the set among the online Magic community. Like
seriously?
People on Reddit or whatever. I'm not joking. They put in a Fleam avatar and cosmetics on Arena because of how much people gravitated towards this character.
Wow. So Fleam's gone viral. Okay.
Fleam is like what Fibblethip used to be, kind of, but like somehow bigger. I don't know. It's weird, but now you know.
Okay, thank you. That is a solid update for me. Green Goblin is a 3/3 legendary goblin human villain with flying and menace, and it says spells you cast from your graveyard cost 2 less to cast, and it has goblin formula. Each non-land card in your graveyard has mayhem. The mayhem cost is equal to its mana cost. And it says you may cast a card from your graveyard for its mayhem cost. If you discarded it this turn, timing rules still apply. So what does that mean? In your graveyard has... So if you discard it, you can cast it that turn regardless.
Basically, all your cards have mayhem, but you have to discard them for that to do something.
Got it.
So like... the lightning bolt you cast 2 turns ago does technically have mayhem, but you didn't discard it this turn, so that doesn't matter. But now
it makes them cheaper
it just
too.
Yeah, it is pretty nice.
So, but this does not have its own discard ability on this side.
No, it does on the front. So there will be times when you're like, attack with the looter, connive, flip the looter, now play the spell for cheap. You have 6 mana. You can play a 4-drop because its members are discounted by 2. So,
God damn, that's good.
I mean, I'm happy enough to play 2 mana 1/1 unblockable connive looter. Like that's just sick.
Right.
Because it's just like attack for 1 connive, attack for 2 connive. Like you keep discarding spells. It's great. And then of course, if you transform it, you also get a 3/3 flying menace that just like does all this other stuff. So I like A- for Norman Osborn, kind of assuming you can do some part of the backside. If you can only do the looter, it's still probably like a B+.
Yeah, but I mean, imagine this in an actual Mayhem deck with real discard outlets. That's just crazy. 2 less to cast. Like, and you're just getting everything back from the yard. Like, that is an unstoppable engine if you have any type of discard outlet. That's a great one. Next is Spider Sense, which is known as Detect Intrusion. It's 1 and a blue for an instant at rare. It has web slinging for blue. That's kind of cool. And it says counter target spell, sorcery spell, or triggered ability. Sorry, instant spell, sorcery spell, or triggered ability.
So it's kind of like a negate. You can't counter like enchantments, artifacts, that sort of thing. And there are some sagas in the set. And then you can sometimes cast it for just 1 mana. This looks like more of a constructed card, like where you're like returning a Spyglass Siren for 1 mana and like doing some more things. So I kind of like maybe sideboard for Spider Sense. If they have like some good expensive instants and sorceries, then I'm kind of in. But otherwise, I think Spider Sense isn't a card I'd be interested in playing.
No, I would give it a sideboard grade, straight up, just sideboard. Next is Mysterio, Master of Illusion. This is 3 and a blue for a 3/3 legendary human villain at rare. It says when Mysterio enters, create a 3/3 blue illusion villain creature token for each non-token villain you control. Exile those tokens when Mysterio leaves the battlefield. You get a 3/3 for each villain, non-token villain.
Yeah, and you're spotted 1 because Mysterio is a villain.
Wow.
So your minimum, you get 2 3/3s. And then when this dies, you lose the tokens, of course. So you're not quite like getting 2, and that one of them isn't really going to be doing as much attacking because you kind of want to keep them safe. But blue-black has tons of villains. So I can imagine casting this on turn 4 and getting like 2 3/3s. Then if you, the perfect curve, if you go 2 and 3 drop, you get 3 3/3s out of this. It's a pretty big game. This is a lot of like, all your eggs in one basket sort of thing where, well, yes and no. It is in that sometimes they'll kill this and you'll lose 3 or 4 creatures, but also you only invest for 1 card, so it's not like you're completely all in. I like A- for Mysterio. This feels like one of those cards where if they don't kill it, they're going to lose most of those games.
Definitely. They have to kill it. The cards that force your opponent to kill it within a very short time frame are really good. Yeah, they do a lot of the time, and then it's a 1-for-1, but like that matters. Also, it's called the Watcher on the Road. I forgot to mention that for Through the Omenpaths. That's a sweet one. Next is the Clone Saga, which is Lost in Lityara. This is 3 and a blue for an enchantment saga at rare. It has 3 chapters. Chapter 1 is Surveil 3. It's a lot of cards. Chapter 2 is when you next cast a creature spell this turn, copy it, except the copy isn't legendary. And chapter 3 is choose a card name. Whenever a creature with the chosen name deals combat damage to a player this turn, draw a card.
Great card.
Cool.
I mean,
yeah, that's great.
You cast this, Surveil 3 should set you up for a good 4 or 5 drop on the next turn, and then you get 2 of them, and then, of course, the turn after you name that, and hopefully get a card, maybe 2 cards out of it. So I like the Clone Saga. I think at B+. You do need to find a creature. If you miss on the second chapter, the card is completely awful, but you won't miss most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, Surveil 3, if you can't hit off of that, then, you got other things going on. Last blue card is Imposter Syndrome. It is 4 blue for an enchantment. It's mythic. And it says, whenever a non-token creature you control deals combat damage to a player, create a token that's a copy of it, except it isn't legendary.
So if you hit, this card's really good. Of course, they did the pointing Spider-Man meme. I think that's great.
Yeah, which is funny.
If you hit with this, obviously, and you play this and you hit, it's obviously great, but it's a 6 mana enchantment that if you're not attacking them and dealing damage, does nothing. I don't think it's worth the effort. I would probably just give this an F. Like, there are games where it can be really strong, but I'm not really seeing it.
I'm with you. The other thing is that it can't snowball, right? It's like you hit the once, you get the copy, and then you're kind of done. Like, unless you put out some other non-token creature that has the ability to get through after casting Imposter Syndrome, it's just you kind of did the thing. It's probably enough to win the game if you can get 2 things going, but like if you had 2 creatures that could attack unimpeded, you were probably in a good place anyway. So we'll go F for Imposter Syndrome. That brings us to black. Our first card is Morlin. Did I say the name of Imposter Syndrome on what's it called? I keep forgetting. Oh, it's the same.
It's just the same.
Got away with it. Morlin, Devourer of Spiders.
I will let you skip this one, though.
I will not be skipping this one. This is Luis Pompous Pillager. They did you dirty, man.
So look, I'm willing to believe that this was a coincidence, but it's a really funny one because they did manage to slip Pompous Pillager in as the title. It couldn't be Luis Valiant Conquistador or Luis, Brave Hero, Luis, Cunning Advisor. Like none of those things.
No, Pompous Pillager, and Paul and I had a good time with that when we saw that card hit the airwaves, as it were. But it's also a really good card, so you can't complain. One of the best cards in
the set, as you would imagine, given the title.
Right, there you go, because of Luis, yeah. Morlun, Devourer of Spiders. This is black X for a 2/1 legendary vampire villain at rare. It has lifelink, and it enters with X +1/+1 counters on it. And it says, when Morlun enters, he deals X damage to target opponent.
And because of lifelink, you're getting that much life back. I mean, this card's an A. Like,
that's a win.
One of the best cards in the set. Like, ideally, you cast it for no less than 5 mana, where you're like getting a 5/4 and draining for 3 and gaining 3. But like, if you have to cast it for 4 mana, you cast it for 4 mana. It'll be great. You cast it for 7 mana, it'll be great. So I had this my first 2 drafts, and it was really good. I would give Morlun an A.
Really, they
they seeded my packs. Yeah.
Next is the Soul Stone, which is the Terminus of Return. This is 1 and a black for a legendary Infinity Stone. It's an artifact. It's mythic rare. It's indestructible. It taps to add black mana. You can pay 6 and a black, tap it, and exile a creature you control to harness the Soul Stone. Once harnessed, its infinite ability is active. And then the infinite ability is infinite. At the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Good God.
What a card. I mean,
that's insanity.
A 2 mana untapped mana rock is already pretty good because it's just like kind of free acceleration. And then the 7 mana ability, it's also instant speed. So you can just go, block, harness this thing, and then you just kind of dominate. I would give it an A. I think Soul Stone's great. It also accelerates you like into your other stuff. It doesn't help pay for the harnessing because you have to tap it in either case, but still, like, this card is just awesome. So A for Soulstone.
Is this going to be mandatory in every commander deck going forward that can cast it? Good Lord. Next is Agent Venom, which is Rylex the Accursed. This is 2 and a black for a legendary symbiote soldier hero. It's a 2/3 flash menace at rare. And it says, whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you draw a card and lose a life. Oh, wow. 3 mana, 2/3 flash menace. It has to be other things that die, but you can flash this in after you block and they don't even know, and you can draw a bunch of cards and stuff. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's a good card. The
first one for free because you can usually set it up where you'll flash this in when something is going to die. And then from there, you have a 2/3 menace that if anything else dies, you just continue to draw cards. So I like probably B+ for Agent Venom. There will be some games where the ability doesn't really work that well, but it's just a good card. It's not hard to make it tick.
Nothing bad to say about it. Next is Eddie Brock, which is known as Vigo Enforcer of Ig's Crossing. This is 2 and a black for a 3/3 legendary human hero villain. I like that. It's mythic rare. When Eddie Brock enters, return target creature card with mana value 1 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. And then you can transform Eddie for 3 black, red, green, again at sorcery speed, or you can just cast it as Venom, Lethal Protector, which is known as Vigo End of Ig's Crossing. This is a 5/5 legendary symbiote hero villain with menace, trample, and haste. And it says, whenever Venom attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, draw X cards, then you may put a permanent card with mana value X or less from your hand onto the battlefield where X is the sacrifice creature's mana value. Woo!
Whew, this is another excellent card. This one,
wow,
if you don't have access, if you don't have access to Jund, it's not that impressive. It's a 3 mana 3/3 that sometimes brings a 1-drop back. You'll have to even go out of your way to get a 1-drop.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get the Jund part, it's just like incredible. Menace, trample, haste. It attacks. You sack something, draw a bunch of cards. You're not even behind on board because you get to then put something into play. So Venom is just an A if you can access the backside.
What about if it's just Eddie Brock? Do you like him at like a C+ or something in that range?
If I had like 2 1-drops, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have no 1-drops, then the card is just a 3-mana 3/3, obviously.
Yeah, I wonder if Venom is secretly just like a green X card that you splash for, similar how you described one of the earlier cards that's green based, where it's like you basically only see Venom if the person's playing base green and then one of the secondary colors. Anyway, A for Venom, Lethal Protector. If you can get it rolling. Next up is Parker Luck, which is known as Duskmourn's Claim. This is 2 and a black for a rare enchantment. It says at the beginning of your end step, 2 target players each reveal the top card of their library. They each lose life equal to the mana value of the card revealed by the other player. Then they each put the card they revealed into their hand. So both players reveal, but the life loss is the only thing that crosses over.
Yeah, but it's like you basically both start confidant, but the other person loses the life instead of you. The thing is, this is a fully symmetrical effect that they get the first crack of the card. This is an F. Don't play this card. Like I also find it a little weird when they have clearly commander cards. It's like they have a commander set going along with it. I understand they want to put commander cards in both, so the commander players buy this set too. But like, this is just not a card you should play in a 2-player game. It doesn't.
Not at all. No, it's actually the worst of all worlds too, because it's the beginning of your end step, so they get it right away. Like that's exactly what you don't. Sometimes you can mitigate those a little if it's on your upkeep because you're the first one that gets to access to the actual card plus your mana, and that's not even the case here. The next is The Death of Gwen Stacy. This is also known as The House Grows Hungry. This is 2 and a black for an enchantment saga at rare. And it has 3 chapters. Chapter 1 is destroy target creature. Okay, well, sold. Chapter 2 is each player may discard a card. Each player who doesn't loses 3 life. And chapter 3 is exile any number of target players' graveyards.
That went downhill fast, but that's okay because it started pretty nicely. And the second chapter is a net benefit because first of all, you're one of the mayhem colors. You probably have access to some mayhem cards. Second, I think on balance, you're a little more likely to care about the life loss. Like it's better for you killed one of their creatures, maybe attack them. So even without the mayhem aspect, I think it's slightly better for you. But mostly, this is a 3-mana sorcery removal spell that can kind of do some other stuff. So I would give it a B. It's a solid card.
B, yeah. And again, it's not most of the time on sagas, they don't start with the good one. So that's a nice thing there. Next up is Black Cat Cunning Thief, which is Wrench Speedway Saboteur. This is 3 black for a 2/3 legendary human rogue villain at rare. It says when Black Cat enters, look at the top 9 cards of target opponent's library, exile 2 of them face down, then put the rest on the bottom of their library in a random order. You may play the exiled cards for as long as they remain exiled, and mana of any type can be spent to cast spells this way. Oh, I love cards like this.
Oh, yeah. This I don't know if it's the literal best card in the set, but it is definitely in contention because you cast this, you get to dig through time off their deck. And
it's so cool.
It doesn't matter if Black Cat dies, any of those things. And if you ever get to get this back from the graveyard or bounce it back to your hand, you just get to do it again.
Oh,
I mean, this is just turbocharged Gonti. So I like A for Black Cat.
I do too.
Incredible card.
I love that, and it gives you a little bit of board presence with your value, so that you can double block or trade off or chump or whatever. Last black card is Gwenum Remorseless, which is Egrix the Bile Bulwark. That's actually kind of a cool name. This is also 3 black, but this one is a 4/4 legendary symbiote spider hero at Mythic with both Death Touch and Lifelink. So 5 mana, 4/4 Death Touch, Lifelink. And when Gwenum attacks, until end of turn, you may look at the top card of your library anytime, and you may play cards from the top of your library. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value rather than paying its mana cost. Oh, man. That is sweet. And it has lifelink too, so you can offset some of the cost over time. Man, that's a sweet card.
Yeah. also when you attack with this, even if it dies in combat, you do get to bolus a citadel. That's what the ability is basically until end of turn. So it says until end of turn, do this. So I think what'll happen is, first of all, if they just kill this, then that's the main drawback. You spent 5 mana on something that has no ETB, has no death trigger, just, it doesn't really help you. But if you manage to untap with this and then attack with it, it's like you probably trade for something, you gain 4 life, and then if you're lucky, you play like 2 or 3 cards, maybe more. I mean, the nightmare scenario is you hit 2 lands, right?
Right.
You hit land, then you hit land, and you can't play a second land. But this combines really well with like cantrips or self-mill, because when you do stall, you can kind of get another shot at it. So I like A- for Gwenum. I mean, there is a limit to how good a 5-drop that has no protection against removal and no ETBs, none of that could be. But this is pretty close to the top when it comes to that.
Can we just give it an A?
Yeah, we could just give it an A. That's fine.
Gotta kill it. Sorry, I lied. There's 2 more black cards. That was the last black card in that particular row. There are two more, though. Villainous Wrath is next. It's named the same thing on Through the Omenpaths. It is 3 black for a sorcery at rare. It says target opponent loses life equal to the number of creatures they control. Then destroy all creatures.
Yeah, so it's a wrath that gives them a little kick. It kicks the dog when it's heading out the door.
That's pretty good. Yeah,
they take an extra 3 or 4 damage. Sure, I mean it's a wrath. I've liked wraths recently. I thought they're pretty good, so I would give it an A-. I think that wraths are decent.
I would too, and I like that. Sometimes the game ends. Like sometimes those boards get big and they're at 5.
Sometimes 6 extra damage is awesome. Yeah,
right.
It can happen.
Last black card actual this time is Behold the Sinister 6, which is known as Hex of Undeath. This is 6 and a black, 7 mana for a sorcery at Mythic. It says return up to 6 target creature cards with different names from your graveyard to the battlefield. Whoa.
I like this card a lot. I haven't had a chance to play with it or seen it played yet, but this looks to me like a card a red-green deck would just splash and it'd be incredible. Like it's just 7 mana win the game if you have a well-stocked graveyard, and splashable, not hard to kind of imagine getting there. I kind of think this is a build around A where you want removal spells, you want a decent amount of creatures, maybe some self-mill. You're just trying to stall out the game and cast this and put even 4 creatures into play is plenty. You don't need to put
3 or 4 is a lot. 6 is of course absurd.
So I like A for Behold the Sinister 6.
Yeah, this is if we always talk about when your cards get up to 6, but particularly 7 and above mana, that it really has to do a lot. Like you can't have it just like draw you some cards or whatever. And this does that. This does a lot. That is a great place to dump 7 mana. We've got some gold cards to do here, Louis. So that's it for the monocolored. First one up is Spider-Woman Stunning Savior, which is Makdi and Itla Sky Snarers. This is 1 and a blue-white hybrid. So 2 mana total, 1 in a white or 1 in a blue for a 2/2 flying legendary spider-human hero at rare. And it has Venom Blast. Artifacts and creatures your opponents control enter tapped.
Solid B. Your blue-white deck is just going to use this really nicely to beat down. You can play it in white-green or blue-black, any of those, of course, because of the hybrid mana. But it actually is best in blue-white. I think that's a nice aggressive deck that can use a 2/2 flyer and really takes advantage of their stuff coming in tapped. So the more aggressive you are, the better Spider-Woman is. And she brings the beats.
Definitely. And asks nothing of you. Next is Bioorganic Carapace, which is Angler's Shield. This is 2 blue-white for an artifact equipment at rare. The equip cost is 2. And it says, when this equipment enters, attach it to target creature you control. Okay, so we're back to this, so you get a freebie here. And then it says, equip creature gets +2/+2 and has, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card for each modified creature you control. Modified, once again, as equipment or as encounters on your creatures.
So they get, you get the first hit for free. And +2/+2 is...
That counts.
You're going to have a 2... Let's say you have a 2/2 in a play, and you play this and equip, and you're going to get that attack in most of the time.
Definitely.
So you're already going to draw a card. You're going to be up the card, up this equipment. This all looks really good to me.
This is great.
I like probably A- for Bioorganic
I do too.
Carapace. The equip for free is just the whole thing.
Because
it means that you can curve into it. It means you can play a flyer on turn 3, play this on 4, immediately draw a card. If they don't kill the flyer, you win the game. Right. And if they do kill the flyer, you're still up a card and have this equipment sitting in play.
Plus, we always look for, how does it augment the creature itself? And +2/+2 is good. Like that turns any creature into a significant upgrade, regardless of whether it started out as a 1/1 or different. And equip 2, that's where this thing needs to be. Like if they do kill your creature, this is a problem for your opponent going forward. And you don't care if you have other modified stuff. Just drawing one card off of this is good enough. And if you happen to get more, great. A- for Bioorganic Carapace. That's a great card. Next is Symbiote Spider-Man. This is also known as Skivix the Augmenter. This is 2 and a blue-black hybrid, so 3 mana total for a 2/4 legendary symbiote spider hero at rare. When this creature deals combat damage to a player, look at that many cards from the top of your library, put one of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard.
Awesome.
Wow.
3 mana 2/4 is pretty hard to brawl with, and when it hits you, you draw a card. You get to look at the top 2, draw a card, and then put the rest in the graveyard.
That's crazy. And then it has Find New Host, which is you can pay once again 2 and a blue-black hybrid, so 3 mana, and exile this card from your graveyard to put a +1/+1 counter target creature you control. It gains this card's other abilities. Wow. And you do that at sorcery speed.
So basically you play this, they have to deal with it or you draw extra cards. And then when they do, you just pop it on either a flyer or a trampler or whatever, and you get to attack and then draw some more cards. Or one card, but you get to look at a bunch.
I think I'm in love, Luis.
I like A for Symbiote Spider-Man.
Same.
Like it's just a recurable Ophidian. And like you cast this on 3, they just have to deal with it. Sometimes they won't even be able to.
With good stats and in a color pair that's very good at getting creatures out of the way. Either black straight up removal spells or blue temporary, but either way, you're going to be getting ahead if your Symbiote Spider-Man's getting in. That's an early front runner. I like that one. Next up is Superior Spider-Man, which is known as Cavero Mindbitten. This is 2 blue-black for a 4/4 legendary human spider hero at rare. It has, 4 mana, 4/4, it has Mind Swap. You may have Superior Spider-Man enter as a copy of any creature card in a graveyard, except its name is Superior Spider-Man, and he's a 4/4 Spider-Man hero, human hero, in addition to its other types. When you do, exile that card.
Basically, you get to steal an ETB or good keywords or whatever it is, that's in a graveyard, and you get a 4 mana 4/4 that is a spider, which is great. So I like A- for Superior Spider-Man. There's really no drawbacks here.
No, and it's both graveyards, and you get to exile it in case that mattered. Yeah. Next up, and our last blue-black card here is Dr. Octopus Master Planner, known as Niche Pinnacle Pariah. This is 5 blue-black, 7 mana for a 4/8 legendary human scientist villain at Mythic Rare. Other villains you control get +2/+2. Your maximum hand size is 8. That's really funny. At the beginning of your end step, if you have fewer than 8 cards in hand, draw cards equal to the difference. Seriously?
You're going to draw like 6 cards when you cast this. It's a 7-drop.
Wow.
And it's pretty hard to kill before your second, before your end step. Like what are they going to do? So
right.
I like A for Dr. Octopus. This just looks like an awesome finisher. You just slam this, you get a bunch of stats with your villains already in play, and then you just draw like somewhere between like 4 and 6 cards, 4 and 8 cards at the end of your turn.
The only thing I don't like about it is that you might just win the game from the +2/+2.
Before you have a chance to utilize all the cards.
And I want to draw the cards. Yeah. A for Dr. Octopus.
I would even consider splashing this card. It's just going to win. It's like an Atroxa. You just cast this and you win.
Amazing card. Next is Ultimate Green Goblin. This is 1 and 2 black-red hybrid. So you can pay 1 double black, 1 double red, or 1 red black. So 3 mana for a 5/4 legendary goblin villain at rare. At the beginning of your upkeep, discard a card, then create a treasure token. And it has Mayhem for 2 and a red-black hybrid, 3 mana. Man, so this is a 3 mana 5/4.
Yeah. It enables Mayhem really well because it discards and makes a treasure. Honestly, I think it has Mayhem mostly to just clue you into how you should be using the card.
Right.
You will cast it with the Mayhem part sometimes, but he's not going to do it that often. But yeah, this card's a beating. I would give this a B+. Like It is a bit of a liability. If you play this on turn 3 and you don't have a Mayhem card in your hand, you're discarding a card next turn. That's pretty bad.
Like losing cards, yeah.
So there are some drawbacks, but I had this in red-black and it was great.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it is 3 mana for a 5/4. By the way, the Through the Omenpaths is Ruzik booed but victorious. That's amazing. Next, it's your least favorite, Luis. It's Carnage Crimson Chaos, which is Desecrex Gift of Servitude. So this is 2 black-red for a 4/3 legendary symbiote villain at rare. It's got trample. So 4 mana, 4/3 trample. When Carnage enters, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains this creature attacks each combat if able, and when this creature is dealt when this creature deals combat damage to a player, sacrifice it, and Carnage himself has Mayhem for just black-red.
Yeah, so you're not getting that much out of the return ability. Like, if you have a good ETB on a cheap creature, that's great. But otherwise, what'll end up happening is you'll get back like a 3/3. You'll just take a hit from it and it'll die.
Right.
But 4 mana, 4/3 trample with Mayhem red-black, like, I'm happy enough playing that card. So I would give Carnage a B.
Okay. Yeah, B seems right to me. Next is Cheering Crowd, which is known as also Cheering Crowd. So this is 1 and a green-red hybrid. So 2 mana for a 2/2 human citizen at rare. It says at the beginning of each player's first main phase, that player may put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. If they do, they add colorless for each counter on it. We love you, Spider-Man.
This is a really weird card. So you play it. It's quasi-symmetrical in that you both get access to the ability. They get to use it first, but by the time it comes back to you, you get more mana. So they'll get 1 mana, and then on your turn, you'll get 2 mana.
And you have a 3/3.
Well, at that point, a 4/4, actually.
Right, but I mean, from them doing it, yeah.
Yeah. My experience with the card was my opponent played it. I added mana, played a 4-drop or a 3-drop on turn 2, because they were on the play. They added mana, played something. Then on my turn, I added mana, killed their thing, and played something big. And it was like, okay, I think that was kind of bad for them. But there's ways it clearly goes well, too. This card is just a very swingy card. I think it's not great. I think it's okay. Like, I don't mind playing it, especially if you have better high-end stuff. But I feel like a lot of the time what's going to happen is your opponent's going to add mana, use the mana, and then kill or bounce this. And like that ends up being a pretty bad deal. So there are definitely some games where this card's going to be incredible. They might even refuse to use it because they don't want to grow it. And you're just like playing my 4-drop on turn 3 and then playing my 6-drop on turn 4. But there's a lot of games where they'll just either add mana and immediately kill it, or you both do 1 round of mana and then they kill it. So yeah, I think Cheering Crowd is a really interesting card. I don't know. I mean, this card could definitely be really good. Like this, I could definitely see as one of the cards where like, well, we were wrong about this in the set review. But my inclination is this is closer to a D than a B. Maybe it's a C somewhere in there. I kind of think this card's never going to play out like a C. It's either going to be awesome or terrible most of the time. But I'm a little skeptical. I think you could definitely try it. This is one of my lowest confidence grades probably that we'll have. But you know, it's definitely, the thing is, it's definitely powerful and has really good cases, but also some really bad fail cases. Like they just kill it after adding 3 mana and you're just kind of left holding the bag. So I think our rating for Cheering Crowd is confusing. If I was pressed, I would say it's probably like a C, because I think it is just an okay card to put in your deck. It won't necessarily raise or lower your win rate by a ton, but I don't know. It's very matchup dependent. There's some matchups where I bet it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I would put it in a prove it category. Like I need to see somebody just trash me with this card and go, okay, fine. But I am very skeptical about trying it out myself. Next is Scarlet Spider, Ben Riley. This is also Boris, the Spider Rider. This is 1 and a 1 red-green for a 4/3 legendary spider human hero at rare. It has web slinging for red-green. It has trample, and it has sensational save. If Scarlet Spider was cast using web slinging, he enters with X +1/+1 counters on him, where X is the mana value of the returned creature. That's cool.
Yeah, you get a 4/3 trample that might have like 3 or 4 more counters, depending on how big the thing is you got. And even if you're bouncing a 2-drop, still kind of paid 2 mana for a 6/5.
Yeah.
Really 4 mana if you think about recasting the original 2-drop, but like that's still pretty cheap. In the fail case of 3 mana 4/3 trample, totally fine. So
Yeah.
I like B for Scarlet Spider. It's going to have some pretty sweet games.
I do too. And sometimes, you do get something for recasting too. Next is Mary Jane Watson, known as Demera, Soul of a Spider. This is 1 and a green-white hybrid, so 2 mana for a 2/2 legendary human performer at rare. And it says, whenever a spider you control enters, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn.
This is one of the best cards in the set. There's just so many spiders, and this costs both white and green mana. So it's like if you first pick this, you're just 90% to get to put in your deck because it goes, in most of the archetypes. So yes, you do want to build around this and like make sure to put spiders in your deck, but that's just not gonna be that difficult. So I would just give Mary Jane Watson an A.
Yeah.
Like it's a 2 mana 2/2 that's really easy to cast and draws you a card most of the turns she's in play, or at least many of the turns she's in play. Yeah, I'm in for that.
Yeah, anytime I see cares about spiders in this green-white sphere, I'm up on it. And anytime I see cares about villains in the blue-black sphere, I'm up on it.
Exactly.
Next is Silk Web Weaver, which is Eleni Brood Recruiter. This is 2 green-white for a 3/5 legendary spider human hero at rare. It's got web slinging for 3 mana, 1 green-white. And it says, whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 1/1 green and white human citizen creature token. Nice. And it has the activated ability 3 green white creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain vigilance until end of turn. Wow, that's a lot to like there. Yeah. 4 mana, 3/5, web slinging.
The web slinging is honestly not that impressive here, except for the fact that it returns a creature so you can then re-trigger the second ability, because you're only getting a 1 mana discount. But it's either way. I mean, you're just spending 3 or 4 mana for a 3/5. You're getting tokens, and then all of a sudden, you just boom, pump all your creatures, gain vigilance, smash them for a bunch. They have to do some chump blocks, and all your creatures are just untapped still. Seems like money to me.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
5 toughness is great
Silk
too.
an A-, I think.
I think so too. I just think that it's one of those cards that's tough to kill, and you're going to untap with it and just take over. Next is the Spot Living Portal, known as Unius Horizon Splicer. This is 3 white-black for a 4/4 legendary human scientist villain. It's rare. When the Spot enters, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent and then up to 1 target non-land permanent card from a graveyard. And when the Spot dies, put him on the bottom of his owner's library. If you do, return the exiled cards to their owner's hands. Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I ideally you want to exile all your own stuff if you can afford to. Like if you're not behind enough, because that way you get this 4/4, and then when it leaves play, or when it dies, actually, you get to get 2 cards. You kind of get 2 cards back. But it's totally fine if you play this, you banish a priest their thing and in play, and then yours out of the graveyard. You almost never want to target theirs in a graveyard. That is just ridiculous. But Imagine this as like a 5 mana 4/4 Banisher Priest, except when it dies, they have to recast the creature and you draw a card. You draw whatever the best permanent was in your graveyard. I mean, that's fantastic.
That's really good.
Fantastic to exile both of yours and just have like a 4/4 that when it dies, you get 2 cards back. There's not really any way to go wrong with this. So, and it's even like somewhat splashable. Though I do want to note, as we take a look at like the next, bunch of cards here, like the next 6 cards, these are all enemy color cards. These are
enemies, yeah.
They're not supported. The color pairs are not supported, which doesn't mean you can't play these cards. Like I think Spot is very good, but I would want to splash Spot in blue-black or something like that, or white-green. Not so much. I'm not going to first pick the Spot and think I'm drafting black-white. Right. I don't think you're going to do that most of the time.
Right.
You can some of the time, not zero. But I would say just be a little cautious. They all lose like kind of like a half grade, just because they're not supported. Like that is actually a pretty big deal.
If you pick one of these, your percentage chance of playing it is significantly lower than if it was a supported color, and that's just something you have to accept up front. That said, this card's awesome. I mean, this is like a bomby card for sure.
Definitely.
A? I mean,
I would probably give it an A. Yeah. I mean, I just think the play pattern of like turn 5, you play this, you exile their 4-drop, you exile your 4-drop from the graveyard that they killed. Then they kill this, they get the card back in hand, they have to recast it, you get yours recasted.
Right.
It was a 1-for-1, except you kind of got a bounce and a raise dead.
Right.
That's amazing.
That's really good. It also just kills tokens. Yeah, really good.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Next one is the other white-black card. It's called Mr. Negative. It's also called Withar Cocoon Keeper. This is 5 5 white black for a 5/5 legendary human villain. It's mythic rare. This 7-drop has vigilance and lifelink, and it has when Mr. Negative enters, you may exchange life totals with target opponent. If you lost life this way, draw that many cards. Wow. So if they're at 10 and you're at 15, you can say swap, draw 5?
Oh, yeah. And you have a 5/5 vigilance lifelink. So even if you've lost some life, like you're still in a decent spot, I would imagine. You don't really want to switch 20 and 3 because you don't really want to draw 17 cards and lose 17 life.
Right.
But the ideal scenario is that you end up casting this and drawing 3 to 5 cards, I would say, is probably like the sweet spot. You don't need much more than that to win most games on 7 mana, and you don't want to lose that much life or in some cases worry about decking. But you also, again, getting the 5/5 vigilance lifelink is so good. I like this card a lot. I would definitely try to play this, and you can manipulate it. Let's say, you attack them and then play this because you made them lose more life, so you draw more cards, or you play this then attack them because you don't actually want to lose quite that much life. You have a decent amount of control over the scenario. You also can do stuff like you have this, you're going to cast it next turn. They attack you with a bunch. You're just like, okay, take it all, go to 2. Cast this, attack you back, and win. So there's some cool stuff you can do. Sadly, Mana Burn's not around anymore.
Yeah,
but this card still I think is pretty good. I'd probably give it an A-. It feels like, what are the circumstances when you cast this that it doesn't do a good amount? If you're losing and you're behind on life, you're casting a 7-mana 5/5 vigilance lifing that gains you a bunch of life, like deal 7 to them, gain 7 life, right? Like if you're at 7 and they're at 14,
right,
you just drain them for 7.
Right.
Or you cast this, swap, and draw a bunch of cards.
So you're either getting a big life total or a life total swing or card advantage.
Or the life totals are even and it doesn't do that.
Yeah. But, and it's also a may, like in scenarios, where you could just not.
So I think that you also just know this is coming, so you can manipulate the game towards the direction you want, whether that's preserving your life total or not, So I would give Mr. Negative an A-. Just it is a 7-mana play. That's and it's off color, so I think that's relevant.
Those are the real catches. Next up is Spider-Man 2099, which is Uharis the Storm Spinner. This is blue-red for a 2/3 legendary Spider Human Hero at rare. It says, from the future, you can't cast Spider-Man 29 during your first, second, or third turns of the game. But it does have double strike and vigilance. And at the beginning of your end step, if you've played a land or cast a spell this turn from anywhere other than your hand, Spider-Man 2099 deals damage equal to its power to any target.
I love from the future. You can't cast this in your first, second, or third. That's really good flavor justification for that ability.
It's funny.
I'm always going to play this card if I'm these colors. The problem is I'm not going to be base blue-red, and I don't really want to splash this.
That's the problem.
Leaves it in a weird spot. But 2-mana, 2/3 double strike vigilance is fantastic, and sometimes it'll ping for 2 on something or maybe more. So
yeah,
I would give it a B. But realistically, you're not putting this card in your deck that often. I
think so too. The funny part is if you do splash it, it gets around the from the future anyway, because you're unlikely to have those 2 colors on the first, second, or third turn of the game anyway. Next up is Craven the Hunter, which is Bracco Heartless Hunter on Through the Omenpaths. This is 1 black-green for a 4/3 legendary human warrior villain at rare. It's got trample, so 3 mana, 4/3 trample, and whenever a creature an opponent controls with the greatest power among creatures that player controls dies, draw a card and put a +1/+1 counter on Craven the Hunter. That's pretty cool. So he's like an alpha, he's going after the big.
I lost badly to this card today where they would just trade this for my 4/4, and even though the Craven died, they still draw a card, and they got it back, and they did it again, and it was just this sucks. So,
and it also turns out that if you ever want to know what the most likely target is on the other side for somebody's removal, it's the creature with the most power. It's almost every time that's the case. Remember, there was a removal spell that was target opponent sacrifices the creature with the most power they control, and it was always that's what I wanted to kill anyway. And that card ended up being awesome. Yeah, this card seems dope. And plus, imagine you're on the draw and on turn 3, your opponent just goes land 3, 4/3 trample. That's also a problem.
Yeah, I mean, it is a card people are most likely splashing because, again, the enemy color thing, but it's still
True.
I've seen people splash in both blue, black, and red, green, and both times it was fantastic. So I would give Craven probably a B plus because you still have to do some work afterwards, but it is a good card.
Next one is Aranya, Heart of the Spider, which is Gloria, the Great Armorer. This is 1 red white for a 3/3 legendary spider human hero. This one's rare. Whenever you attack, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature. Nice. And whenever a modified creature you control deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn.
It's funny because
Very good.
Araña means spider in Spanish, so it's spider, heart of the spider.
Spider, heart of the spider. Okay. That is funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's whenever
awesome.
you attack, not whenever she attacks. So you just cast this on turn 3, attack with your 2/2, and now it's a 3/3. Like it's like a little Luminarch, aspirant, and you're probably not playing the spell the first turn that you hit with this, but on future turns you might be able to. And I just like the fact that you just immediately get that counter. So I like B plus for Aranya.
Yeah, definitely. Again, all of these ones come with this caveat about castability and all that, but they are very, very good. Next up is Jackal, Genius Geneticist, which is Druneth, Reviver of the Hive. This is green-blue for a 1/1 legendary human scientist villain at rare. It's got trample. I'm always in for a 1/1 trampler, by the way. Whenever you cast a creature spell with mana value equal to Jackal's power, copy that spell, except the copy isn't legendary, then put a +1/+1 counter on Jackal.
I try to get this to work, but honestly, the biggest thing isn't the fact that it's blue-green, though that is annoying. It's that the first time you want to trigger it, you need to play a 1-mana creature, or you need to pump Jackal's power before playing creatures. So that's an extra step that makes this kind of like an F to me. Like I just
it feels like the 2 and the 3 would be very doable, but
it's a bridge too far. It's on the splash, and you need to solve the 1-drop/1 power problem. That's too much. We're off it.
I'm off it. I would give Jackal an F. I mean, because you're splashing for this thing too, which is annoying. All right, last multicolored card is Cosmic Spider-Man. This one costs Wooburg, 1 of each color of mana, white, blue, black, red, green, for a 5/5 legendary spider human hero at Mythic rare. It has, that's right, flying, first strike, trample, lifelink, and haste. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, other spiders you control gain flying, first strike, trample, lifelink, and haste until end of turn. It's called Scions of the Spider in Through the Omenpaths. I mean, uncastable.
Difficult to cast. There is some amount of fixing, some 5-color fixing, some lands. There are some things that can help.
It's a super bomb.
I don't think this is that kind of format, really. So this is like a build around A, where if you can cast this card is pretty incredible. But
I mean, it just ends the game. Yeah, it's an amazingly
flying
great
first strike,
card,
trample, lifelink, haste, boom.
Yeah,
nug for 5, and then all your spiders do that too. But,
right.
So build around A, but like you got to do some work here.
Yeah, it's incredible. We've got 5 artifacts and 3 lands, and then we'll do the bonus sheet. 5 artifacts. First one up is Doc Ox Tentacles. This is 1 mana for an artifact equipment. It's rare. The equip cost is 5. And it says, whenever a creature you control with mana value 5 or greater enters, you may attach this equipment to it. The equipped creature gets +4/+4, which is 8.
Yeah. My main problem with this is that like a 5-drop doesn't need to help that much, and spending a lot of mana to equip it on something smaller seems a little bit tenuous. So I could believe this is good. I think we're going to give it a low grade because I think it's a little tricky to make it work. Really good with the Colossal Dreadmaw Spider. Yeah. The 6/6 hexproof, ward 2, trample, reach. But the payoff of this, of playing a big creature and having that thing live, and coupled with the expensive equip cost, this looks like a D, but I could be willing to.
F. I mean,
I could believe that losing to this could happen though.
I would too. It's just, the thing is, I try to think about it in terms of like colors, right? Like if you're blue black, how many 5-drop creatures are you running or more? It's not that many. It's 3 or 4, right? Like in your whole deck. So now you're like, And then is that really what you need, that your 5-drop is better than it was going to be? I mean, most 5-drops plus, if they stick on the battlefield, are probably the best thing going anyway. And it's not like if I just had +4 of stats, I would have been able to win the game. It's more like, no, if you had another removal spell or something that did something more productive than this. So that's why I don't like it. Yes, I could see it in green where you're playing maybe a rampier strategy and you have more things that trigger this thing automatically. But man, I just can't imagine putting this in my deck and trying to go, okay, equip 5, here we go. Like that is a proven recipe to not win the game. So I'd give Doc Ock's Tentacles an F, and somebody's going to have to prove me better. Yeah. Next is Peter Parker's Camera. This is 1 mana for an artifact at rare. This artifact enters with 3 film counters on it. You can pay 2, tap, and remove a film counter from this artifact. Copy target activated or triggered ability you control. You may choose new targets for the copy.
Look, I'm sure that there's some cool stuff you can do with this, but I just don't want to invest a card and hope that the mana lines up enough to be copying something good. Like, yeah, copying the first part of like a saga trigger and destroying another creature sounds great, but there's just a lot of moving pieces there. So I would typically give cards like this around a D or an F and just say, like, it's just, there's enough good cards that work when you cast them that I don't want a card that doesn't do anything by itself, and you need mana, and you need a good ability to copy, and it's just like a lot of moving pieces to spend 2 and tap it and kill a creature. Right. That's about the best you can do on that kind of copy.
Right. Tons of setup costs for that. Next is Iron Spider Stark Upgrade. Sorry, what do they call the camera? It's called a Phenomena Recorder. And the tentacles is called Giant Craft Helm. That's a pretty good name. Iron Spider Stark Upgrade is Physic Ethereum Mechanic. It's 3 mana for a 2/3 legendary artifact creature spider hero at rare. It's got vigilance and it has tap. Put a +1/+1 counter on each artifact creature and or vehicle you control. And it has 2, remove 2 +1/+1 counters from among artifacts you control to draw a card.
So you're getting 3 mana for a 2/3 vigilance, and then you can tap it and it can pump itself plus other artifacts or vehicles, which probably not going to have a ton of those, but
that's really good.
I mean, you still just attack with this as a 3/4 immediately. Like, that's already good. And then you can really also start removing counters from only artifacts. So again, you do have to like do a little bit of finagling to make that work, but like that's a bonus. I would play this without the second ability. So I like B for Iron Spider. Really solid card.
I would say B+. Like, this thing also goes in any deck and can be a card draw engine later.
Yeah, no, B+ is good.
Next is rocket-powered Goblin Glider, which is Stitcher's Wings. This is 3 mana for a rare equipment. It has equip cost 2, and it says when this equipment enters, if it was cast from your graveyard, which I'll tell you about in a second, attach it to target creature you control. The equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has flying and haste. And the reason that it referenced the graveyard is because this card has mayhem for 2. That's kind of a lot, actually, right? +2 flying and haste is really annoying. And equip 2, yes, it does. That is real.
No, this card is good.
You get it free sometimes. Like, dang.
So like, imagine you're like turn 4, you play the 3/4 that you can discard a card to give +1/+0 menace, right? And then on turn 5, you go play a 3-drop, discard this, give the 3-drop flying and haste and +2/+0. You're attacking with like a 4/4 menace and like a 5/3 flying haste.
This seems really annoying.
If they deal with this is in play, but every time all your creatures, like the expensive ones, you have to wait a turn and that's fine. But the cheaper ones, they get +2/+0. So even playing a 2 mana 2/2 and equiping it, you're attacking with a 4/2 haste.
Flyer.
Can you imagine being a control deck and seeing this on the other side of the board? You're just not going to win.
Never going to win.
So I kind of like A- for rocket powered Goblin Glider. This actually seems like a legit card.
Definitely, especially in the red black deck, but even outside of it, that is so annoying. I mean, this is a type of card that can overpower basically any amount of removal. Last artifact is Interdimensional Web Watch, which is called Reality Fulcrum. It's 4 mana for an artifact at rare. It says when this artifact enters, exile the top 2 cards of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. And it taps to add 2 mana in any combination of colors. Spend this mana only to cast spells from exile. So until the end of your next turn, so like you could like play it on 5, hit a land off of it. Boy, it just doesn't do much after that. It's like
the problem is this kind of doesn't do much afterwards. Like
it basically guarantees you get to cast the things. But
if you use the mana on both cards, this is a 0 mana divination of sorts, right? Mm-hmm. You spent 4, you drew 2 cards, then you tapped it twice, you got the 4 mana back.
Yes.
But it's not really obviously quite that. And if you ever hit a card you can't play or a card that's like too situational, then you kind of missed. You're probably not doing a lot with this after the fact. So I haven't picked this card in draft. I've kept being skeptical. I could see this being like a C+, but I don't think it's going to be much better than that.
It does get you 2 cards, but I think that the real issue is that it's 4 mana to get 2 cards. Like that is way too steep of a price at sorcery speed. And yes, it does kind of pay you back a little bit, but it just feels so hard to abuse that second ability. 3 lands. First one is Oscorp Industries, known as Exclusive Nightclub. Really? Okay. It's a land that enters tapped. It's rare. And when this land enters from a graveyard, you lose 2 life. Ouch. And it taps for blue, black, or red. And it has mayhem. But not free mayhem. I mean, 2 life loss mayhem.
I mean, it's a tap land that taps for 3 colors that I would play if I was any 2 of those 3. If I'm playing blue, black, or red, black, I'm happy to do it, especially if I'm splashing one of these cool gold cards or off-color cards. And of course, if you ever mayhem this, that's pretty sick. You're like,
that's
turn
really
3,
sick.
You cast the Tormenting Voice and you mayhem this. Like, that's pretty good too. So I like B for Oscorp Industries. It's not a bomb, but it's a pretty sweet card.
This is really powerful. I mean, because the problem with mayhem is that you often have to pay mana to get it into the yard and then have the mana left over to pay the mayhem cost. This just doesn't do that. Next is Urban Retreat, which is the same name. It's land, again, at rare. It enters tapped and it taps for green, white, or blue. And you can pay 2 mana and return a tapped creature you control to its owner's hand. Put this card from your hand onto the battlefield and activate only as a sorcery.
So the dream here is to play a City Pigeon on 1, and on turn 2 attack, and then you get your Rampant Growth, your Urban Retreat.
Oh, it replaces it with this.
It's also it's got Web Sling or whatever. It's also just, again, a tri-land that I would play in my white-green deck and be happy with, or white-blue deck, whatever. And sometimes you'll get to kind of ramp it into play for free. So I like B for Urban Retreat. Again, a pretty neat card.
I like that too. Last one is Multiversal Passage. Same name again. This is a land at rare. As this land enters, choose a basic land type. Then you may pay 2 life. If you don't and it enters tapped, the land is the chosen type. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, this is so cool. This is a shock land Prismatic Beast, where it's either a tapped basic of any type or pay 2 life for an untapped basic of any type. This card's awesome. It's going right in the cube too.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I would give this a B. Like, this set does not seem like you're often needing the 3rd color. I mean, sometimes you will, and this the value of this goes up. But in your like red-green deck, I would take this card at like probably a C+ level. I would take it at a B level if I needed to splash a 3rd color.
Yeah, I mean, I view it as very comparable to, Evolving Wilds type cards. It's just a little better, like C+. And then, like you said, if you need the splash, it's even more. Okay, we've got our bonus sheet here. And this is all reprints, and they are from a wide range of cards that some of them make sense for the set, some of them don't. Some of them are more flavor wins and stuff like that. So we're going to cruise through these. If they're not applicable to us as limited players, we're just basically going to give them.
We're just going to give it an F and move on. Like we don't need to. There's enough
to talk about
to belabor the point.
Why? Yeah. So first up is Comeuppance. It's 3 and a white for an instant. It says prevent all damage that would be dealt to you and planeswalkers you control this turn by sources you don't control. If damage from a creature source is prevented this way, Comeuppance deals that much damage to that creature. If damage from a non-creature source is prevented this way, Comeuppance deals that much damage to the source's controller.
This is a weird card. So like, It only prevents damage to you and, of course, planeswalkers you control. Basically, just to you. So you leave up 4 mana, they attack you, and you're like, prevent the damage, and your creatures kill themselves if they don't have higher toughness. Or you cast it in response to a burn spell that's targeting you, but that's not really going to happen too often. It doesn't look that good to me. Like
no, it's 4 mana.
Yeah, I would give it a D. I think that there are some games where it'd be good, and if you're like a really controlling deck, but both blue white and white green I think are assertive. So I just think Comeuppance is not very good.
I think so too. This is also one of those ones where it's very easy to imagine some dream scenario, but it very rarely happens. Next up is Leyline Binding. This is the 5 and a white enchantment with flash and domain. It costs 1 less to cast for each type, basic land type you control. And when it enters, you exile target non-land permanent opponent controls until this enchantment leaves the battlefield. Very powerful in a 2-color deck. What does it cost? 4 mana? Is that something we're interested in? 4 mana, instant speed? Yeah.
I would always play Leyline Binding.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you'll have a third type and it'll be 3, but 4 mana, like it's kind of like Castaway or Cast Out, but you can't cycle it, but that's fine. So I would give a B to Leyline Binding.
Same. Very good. 9 lives is 1 white for an enchantment with hexproof. If a source would deal damage to you, prevent that damage and put an incarnation counter on this enchantment. When there are 9 or more incarnation counters on this enchantment, exile it. When this enchantment leaves the battlefield, you lose the game.
This is an F.
Yeah,
Part of the problem with this too is
game.
like it doesn't get you anywhere ahead. If you're taking hits, maybe it prolongs it. Also, if a 1/1 hits you, it prevents the damage and puts a counter on it. So it's not like you get saved from lethal. So F for 9 lives, which leads us to one of the best cards, Path to Exile. White, instant. Exile target creature. Its controller may search the library for a basic land card to put it on the battlefield tapped and then shuffle. Honestly, Path is an A. Like, it's a removal spell that you don't want to play in like the first 5 turns of the game, but after that, it's 1 mana instant exile any creature with a negligible drawback. Like, that's just an incredible card.
Definitely. One of the best removal spells ever for a reason.
Yep.
What about Reprieve? 1 and a white instant, return target spell to its owner's hand, draw a card.
I like the art. The art on these cards is really cool because they're all just like comic book covers and panels from comic books.
Yeah,
like
these
really
are iconic cool. Too. Some of the one for Path to Exile is a really famous one. I mean, these are just like, there's one in here that I'm going to get this card just because I like that art. Like, I don't even know what the card does. But Reprieve's great. Like white is where this effect is really the most effective.
Yeah.
Of course, this is originally printed in blue, but Reprieve is a really good card. Like, it seriously is. Like, this isn't something you should just overlook. Like, it plays at like a B- level because you can oftentimes in white curve out, get a board state, and then protecting it for a turn is the difference.
Yeah. I mean, just there's no way this card is ever bad. It always trades even or up on mana and sometimes way up on mana in cycles. It's really cool. So
really
I like
good.
B for Reprieve. Really nice little card.
Next is Rest in Peace, 1 and a white enchantment. When this enchantment enters, exile all graveyards. If a card or token we put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. Nah, not even sideboard, right?
There's no.
Would you bring it in against the Mayhem deck? You're blue white, and you're playing a best of 3, and they'd
have to be like
you're
the Mayhem deck
card
with like a capital M. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like I would have needed to see like 5 Mayhem cards or something, because like you're down a card when you play this, and like they're Mayhem cards they could just cast. So
totally.
I guess maybe if the Behold the Sinister 6 was their finisher, you could also play this card. That's the Raise Dead 6 creatures or Zombify 6 creatures. So, but I would say we can give it an F and probably proceed.
Next is Wedding Ring, 2 white for an artifact. When this artifact enters, if it was cast, target opponent creates a token that's a copy of it. Whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring draws a card during their turn, you draw a card. Whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring gains life during their turn, you gain that much life. Aww.
F, completely symmetrical.
Next is...
Don't even entertain it.
Yeah.
Next is Clever Impersonator. It's 2 blue for a creature shapeshifter. It's a 0/0. You may have this creature enter as a copy of any non-land permanent on the battlefield. So this can copy creatures most of the time, but also can copy theirs. Could copy planeswalkers, enchantments, copy like a Leyline Binding. So I like B for Clever Impersonator. You're always going to get at least the best thing on the battlefield, with some caveats, because sometimes the best thing has a bunch of counters on it, and this won't copy those. But like this card doesn't really go wrong. Counterspell.
Maybe you've heard of it. Blue, instant counter target spell. Pretty good card. I mean, it's iconic, obviously, but it's still just a 1-for-1. It's a little bit difficult to cast, but I mean, I'm playing it if I'm in blue.
2 mana. I would say B- on counterspell to reflect the double blue part, but it's 2 mana is a lot better than 3.
It's
you
an
get an
efficient,
advantage out of this.
Definitely.
It just means on turn 6 you can play a 4-drop and counter their spell with 2 mana left, even if it's a little awkward to be like, all right, I'm going to leave 2 islands up and tap 3 planes and an island to cast my spell.
Right. Next is Lorthos the Tidemaker, though it's renamed Doc Ock Armed and Dangerous. It's 5 blue, blue, blue for a legendary octopus, and when it enters, you may pay 8. If you do, tap up to 8 target permanents. Sorry, when it attacks, not enters. You may pay 8. If you do, tap up to 8 target permanents. Those permanents don't untap during their controller's next untap steps, and it's an 8/8. So 8/8 for 8, and when it attacks, you can pay 8 to basically wash out their board. I mean, I don't know. Do you think that there's a deck in this format that wants this?
I love
there's
Lorthos.
No blue-green
One
deck.
of the first draft videos I ever did that actually popped off was this draft I did with Lorthos on Channel Fireball.
I remember.
Marshall, I don't want to tell you how many years ago it was. I looked it up on YouTube because I linked it in my TCG player.
Don't tell me.
Right? I won't tell you that it was 15 years old.
No. Are you kidding? Oh, my God. Was that before or after the Oblivion Ring?
After the Oblivion Ring, but or about the same amount of time.
Or rings, I should say.
I gotta say it's an F. I'm sorry, Lorthos.
Yeah,
you're my boy, but you can't spend 8 mana on a card that doesn't do anything. You just can't.
And also you really need a blue-green deck, I think, to make this work.
Look,
so you can.
If you played this and then they didn't kill it and you attacked, yes, you would win, but that's just not how 8-drops work. 8-drops have to be Ugin levels of let's do things right now. So, and this is not that. So F for Doc Ock Armed and Dangerous, which brings us to Mindbreak Trap, which is 2 blue, blue instant trap. If opponent casts 3 or more spells, you can pay 0 rather than pay this spell's mana cost. Exile any number of target spells. This is an F. This is a counter spell. Constructed level sideboard card. Yeah, it's a counter spell that when they played 3 spells, you get to play it for free. It's that's a strong card, but it's not something you want in limited. It's a good card.
You must be so stoked. Mystic Confluence is our next card. 3 blue, blue instant. If for anybody who's never seen Mystic Confluence, put on your seatbelt. This is one of the good ones. 5 mana instant. Choose 3, and you may choose the same mode more than once. So any combination of these. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Draw a card. This is goated.
Yeah. So the main thing you do with Mystic Confluence, well, there's a couple because it's like Cryptic Command. There's no wrong way to do it. You pass with 5, you counter their 5-drop and you draw 2 cards. Fantastic. Or you counter their 5-drop, bounce their 4-drop and draw a card. Fantastic. Or in the late game, you bounce 3 things and kill them. Or they do nothing and you draw 3 cards in a turn. Or any number of these things, up to including sometimes counter unless you pay 3 twice. If they have 3 mana left over, you need to be able to actually counter the spell. But it's funny because this set has counter a spell, tap 2 creatures, counter a spell, draw a card, or draw 3 cards, and then it has actual Mystic Confluence. So, this card's an A. It might be an A+, honestly. It's just never bad. It's always great.
It's going to be one of the best cards in this set, and it's basically a 3-for-1 all day. Next up is Ponder, blue sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put them back in any order. You may shuffle, and then draw a card.
Yeah, Ponder's a totally playable card. You don't need a shuffle effect to make this card good. Without a shuffle effect, it is a little worse because the joke is you go Ponder, draw the best card, and shuffle away the other 2, or draw the 2 best, shuffle away the last one. Otherwise, you're just drawing the 3 cards eventually, and it's you didn't really do that much. But a 1-land Ponder hand, if you don't see a land or 2 lands in the top 3, you can just shuffle and draw. So I would play this card because it's you don't really lose much by playing it, but it's not that great of a card. It's like a C, honestly, and just straight up limited. Yeah,
we love this card, but in regular limited, it's harder to take full advantage. Next up is Rite of Replication. This is 2 blue, blue for a sorcery. Create a token that's a copy of target creature, but it also has a kicker cost of 5, meaning you can just add 5 extra mana to the cost. And if you do, you get 5 of those token copies instead of just the 1. It's 9 mana to kick it, but it does win the game on basically any creature, and it's good enough on its own too. Right?
It doesn't just look at your side. It's an east side. And so making a token is a little worse than Clever Impersonator because it's so bad against bounce. But I actually think this card is better because you just make a token if you cast draw it early or mid game, but if you get in close to enough mana, it just does win you the game. I like a spell that's good at 4 mana and wins the game at 9. It's a great card. I'll give it B+ to Write a Replication.
B+. Yep. Next is Traumatize. It's 3 blue for a sorcery. Target player mills half their library rounded down. No. Just F. Next is Feed the Swarm. This is 1 and a black for a sorcery. Destroy target creature or enchantment an opponent controls. You lose life equal to that permanent's mana value.
This card is fine. Like you would play this card. The drawback is real. Killing a 5-drop and losing 5 life is pretty brutal. But it's not like when this was in, I don't remember what set it was in now, but when this was Ikoria, I think. But when this card,
it looks like.
Yeah. Oh, it was in actually a bunch of sets. But when you had this card in oh wow, they've printed this card so many times. When you had this card in a normal draft format, you would like not want the second one sometimes, definitely not want the third. Given that this is like a bonus sheet card that's not going to come up, yeah, just take the card. It's kind of like B- level removal because sometimes you get to the point where it's just you can't really cast it, but it's also totally fine to kill a 2-drop with this, and like you feel pretty good. Plus, it can kill the Banishing Light in the set. It kills enchantments. Like, that is pretty nice.
Yeah. I think the best way to view Feed the Swarm is that you slot it in where you would slot in the cheap black removal spell that kills small things, but in a pinch, if your life total allows, you can kill something else. Next is Hex. 4 black sorcery. Destroy 6 target creatures.
So this card is a reprint, or from Ravnica. These are all reprints. It's worse than you think. I'll just preface it with that because
target.
It's not up to 6. It's not, kill 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. It's kill 6. You can't cast unless there's 6 creatures in play. That being said, you can play this card with the assumption that a lot of the times it's going to be kill 4 of theirs and 2 of yours.
Yeah.
And that's still a fine deal. You're up a card in that exchange, and the creatures you killed on your side are probably your worst creatures. You're killing obviously all of theirs. Whereas, and sometimes you get to kill 5 or even 6 of their creatures, and then it's great. So I think Hex is probably like a C+ level card. It's not an A level card.
Isn't it just an F?
No, it's not just an F. I don't think.
I just have it at F. I mean, like, there's plausible scenarios where your opponent has 5 creatures and you have 0 and he just does nothing.
No, totally.
Yeah.
But you have to balance that. But with the times when you cast it, it's an A level card. Mm-hmm. If you kill 5 creatures of theirs and 1 of yours, that's an A.
That's an A+.
If you kill 4 and 2, it's still like a B. And if you kill 6 and 0, it's obviously just ridiculous. So I think that the upside of this is worth the risk. In a best of 3, I would definitely be siding this out. And it is better if you have tokens of your own that you can put on the board. And also if your deck is more of a board stall deck, like a blue-black control deck that doesn't have very many creatures and lots of removal, this card is an F. Because you're never going to get in a situation where Hex is good. But I could see you go a little offbeat and you're like black, green, red or something like that. And you're just like multicolor and you got a bunch of, creatures that stall the board and you're like, play the web slinging spider that gains 3 and puts 2 spider tokens into play. Mm-hmm. And then you cast Hex at some point, you set it up and it's really good. So green is probably the best pairing with this because it can stall the board and put some stuff on the board. But most people should just not put this card in their deck, but it is good if you can land it. So I think it's somewhere around a C level card, but that's also like a little deceptive. Here's where grades kind of break down, where this card really is. It's kind of like one of the other cards we talked about. It's an A or an F most of the time. It's not usually that much in the middle, and closer to F than A. Like most of the time, like more of the time, it's going to be on that high.
It's an advanced card. I mean, I would tell most people to treat it as an F. But I agree with what you said. I mean, if you're really good at all of these things, you might be able to set it up because, like you said, it has the capability of being like literally an A+. Like it has the capability of being a devastating game swinging play. But every other time it's not. It's just if you're ahead, it's terrible. Yeah. Next up is Infernal Grasp. This is 1 and a black for an instant destroy target creature. You lose 2 life. Yes, please.
Yeah, this is good. This is not Feed the Swarm. This is just A level removal, like an A-. Like,
Yep.
Yeah, the 2 life matters, but 2 mana, instant speed, kill anything. I'm in.
Opposition Agent is 2 and a black for a 3/2 human rogue with flash, and it says you control your opponents while they're searching their libraries. While an opponent is searching their library, you may exile each card they find. You may play those cards for as long as they remain exiled, and you may spend mana as though they were any color of mana to cast them. So 3/2 for 3 mana with flash. Sure. I guess that's like a D.
That's like a D, but
man, if they search for anything ever and you can get them with this, it's like the best feeling.
Yeah, I think it's still just a D. I don't think you can count on it for any specific
and none of
reason.
the mechanics are routinely searching, right? It's not.
Nah.
Yeah. Next is Reanimate, black mana for a sorcery, and I mean black, like 1 mana for a sorcery.
This is some classic art too.
Yeah, put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. You lose life equal to that card's mana value.
Reanimate's like an A-. Like we played with this card recently in what's it called? The Wild West set. Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was excellent there. So like I see no reason to think like
I agree.
I mean, I played with the card a million times in Cube. I know how good it is, but even in like limited, it's still just modern limited. It's still just great. It gets out of their graveyard. It's 1 mana.
Yeah, and it's in black ridiculous. That has the most removal that puts stuff.
Also,
in the
you're
graveyard.
playing Mayhem, and you could just discard a 6-drop on turn 3 and reanimate it.
Yeah,
what are they going to do?
Forget it. Yeah.
So A- for reanimate only because the life loss actually is a real drawback.
It really is. Saw in half is next. 2 and a black for an instant. Destroy target creature. If that creature dies this way, its controller creates 2 tokens that are copies of that creature, except their power is half of that creature's power and their toughness is half of that creature's toughness, round up each time.
So you kill a 3/3, you get 2 2/2s. Woo!
And you're supposed to do it to yourself, I guess?
Yeah, you don't want to cast it on their creature because it's not a drawback.
I don't think I want to cast it on my creature either.
Well, if you have death triggers or ETB triggers,
getting in the yard.
You get 2 of them, but that's pretty specific. It's like a build around B. If you have a couple of things that is really good to saw in half, I think the card is quite strong.
It's funny, too.
Most of the time, you're not going to want to play it. It is a very funny card.
Next is Venom, King in Black, which is Skitherix the Blight Dragon. Oh, man, this is going back. 3 black for a 4/4 flying infect. It's a legendary Phyrexian dragon skeleton. And it has black, it gains haste until end of turn, or double black, regenerate it, which means the next time that it would die, it gets removed from combat and is tapped but survives. And infect means that it deals damage in the form of -1/-1 or poison
instead of damage.
Players. Yes.
So what that means is you play Skitherix, you play Venom here, and you hit them twice, they get to 8 poison, and then they kill it, and it's like you did no damage to them. But I still think the card's great. You hit them 3 times, they die. It's a 4/4 flyer that if it tangles with something and somehow that thing doesn't die, it's like drastically shrunk. And it can get haste and regeneration. Like, I would give Skitherix here, Venom, probably like an A-.
I would too. Because what you said is true, but also the regeneration, if you get to untap, does mean it's hard to kill.
Yeah.
Next is Goblin Bombardment. Nice. This is 1 and a red for an enchantment. It says sacrifice a creature. This enchantment deals 1 damage to any target. And they got the flavor win here with Green Goblin.
I know, this is like the best flavor in the set. It's just such a good reprint.
It is.
I don't think the card's that good.
Yeah.
The problem is the red pairs, red, green, and red, black, don't really make tokens. It's a really powerful card. When you have Goblin Bombardment in play, it's like really annoying for your opponent because like none of their removal spells with benefits resolve because you're also going to sack your creature. If they're at like 6 life, they're obviously like, oh, wow, probably going to get died to Goblin Bombardment. You can like chump and shoot things. Like it is powerful. It's getting played a lot in Modern right now, right, in the Boros deck. But I don't see it being a great fit in this set. So I think it's like a build around B where if you can make a deck that has a bunch of fodder to sacrifice and wait and death triggers and things that like work with this, I don't really think that exists most of the time. Mm-hmm. So I would say most of the time you're not going to play it, but it is a good build around.
For sure. It's just, I would have a hard time finding the deck that this genuinely fits in. Next is Spider-Gwen Web Warrior, which is Najila the Blade Blossom. This is 2 and a red for a legendary human warrior. Whenever a warrior attacks, you may have its controller create a 1/1 white warrior creature token that's tapped and attacking. It's a 3/2, by the way. And it has the activated ability Wooburg. So 1 of each mana color to untap all attacking creatures. They gain trample, lifelink, and haste until end of turn. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase. Activate only during combat.
Yeah, this card is funny because I think every time they do a new treatment, they reprint this card. I think it's like the 10th reprint or something like that.
I just looked at it. You're right. Battle Bond, Commander Legends, Secret Layer Drop, Final Fantasy, Through the Omenpaths. Wow.
Yeah, it's just funny. Well, one thing that's kind of funny about Spider-Gwen is you attack and you get a 1/1 token, but if they don't kill the token, next turn if the token attacks, it makes a token too. Like it does compound. It really snowballs. You're not going to use the 5-color ability very often.
No.
It's a little bit like a kind of bad Goblin Rabble Master because it has to attack to make the token, but it goes a lot harder if it's not dealt with. So my guess is like a C+. Like if they play this on turn 3, you're going to be like, whoa, I better kill that. But
yeah, but this also might be the only warrior in the whole set, right? Like everything was all spiders and villains.
Yeah.
Next is Relentless Assault, 2 red for a sorcery. Untap all creatures that attack this turn. After this main phase, there is an additional combat phase followed by an additional main phase.
I'm really low on cards like this just because if you don't have a good attack, it does nothing. And if you have a good attack, this card maybe helps you win a little bit faster. So I like F for Relentless Assault. I don't think it's good.
Next is Savage Beating. This is 3 red for an instant. Cast this spell only during your turn and only during combat. You can choose one. Creatures you control gain double strike until end of turn, or untap all creatures you control. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase, and then it has Entwine, which means if for 1 and a red, if you pay that additional cost, you get to do both.
This one at least gives you the combat trick element with it, so it makes sense. And Savage Beating does 4x the damage, right? Because it's like your 4/4 now hits for 8 twice, so it goes from 4 to 16, that sort of thing. I've cast some good Savage Beatings. It was in Mirrodin a long time ago.
Yeah.
I'm skeptical this is good. It still costs a lot of mana.
It does.
So I would probably give it like a D. If you can get this into like a red-green ramp deck, there's definitely some times when it can be really good, but a lot of the time I don't think it'll be that good.
Yeah. Again, there's a lot of emphasis on extra combat steps here. Kind of interesting. Next is Shock, which is red for an instant. It deals 2 damage to any target. And it's already in this set, right?
Yes, it is. It's still fine. This card's still like a C+ or whatever.
What we said about it, yeah. Next is Thrill of Possibility. This is 1 and a red for an instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, discard a card, draw 2 cards. Wow.
Another like C, but C+ in the Mayhem deck.
Yeah, in the Mayhem deck, Thrill would be sweet.
Yeah. I said C, but C+ in the Mayhem deck.
Next is,
you're not giving this a B, not on my watch.
I'm not. The next is Unexpected Windfall, which is 2 red for an instant. It says an additional cost to cast this spell. Discard a card, draw 2 cards, and create 2 treasure tokens. Similar?
You pay 2 more, but you get the 2 mana back right away. So like in terms of Mayhem, it's actually about the same. And then it does some good setup for like a ramp deck where you just skip your turn 4, do this, and then you have 7 mana on your next turn plus a bunch of new cards. I still think it's like a C.
Yeah.
Like you can play the card, it's fine.
Next is Winds of Change, which is red for a sorcery that says each player shuffles the cards from their hand into their library, then draws that many cards.
This is an F. Do not put this card in your deck. Do not consider putting this card in your deck. You're down a card and you both reshuffle your hands. What?
Yeah.
Like, no thanks.
Next card is Arachnogenesis, which is 2 and a green for an instant. Create X 1/2 green spider creature tokens with reach, where X is the number of creatures attacking you. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn by non-spider creatures. Also, it features iconic Todd McFarlane artwork from the reboot.
So this is interesting. This is a really cool reprint because in most sets, this is just like, okay, yeah, you make some spiders and prevent all damage except for the spiders. This set, both you and them could actually just have spiders. So it's not even just upside or downside, it's just both. I think the key here is if you can make like 2 spiders and then ambush something, that's pretty good. And that's not hard to do. I bet Arachnogenesis is like a B. Like, how hard is it to set up a turn? They attack with a 5/5 and a 2/2. You're like, cast this, make 2 1/2s, kill the 2/2, and take no damage.
Yeah, for sure. I think that as long as you're willing to just accept something a little on the minimal side. Plus, remember,
walk into this expecting to make 5 spiders. That's not really going to happen that often.
And also, there's just tons of other spiders in this set. Next is Master Weaver.
So don't get caught with your web down, as it were.
Yeah. Next is Master Weaver Web Protector, which is Arasta of the Endless Web. This is 2 green for a legendary enchantment creature spider with reach. It's a 3/5. And it says whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/2 green spider creature token with reach. That's a good card.
Master Weaver's great.
Good card.
Very hard not to get at least 1 spider out of it, sometimes more. And the only decks that like aren't going to care that much are like the really big creature decks that just have a bunch of 6/6s. But even then, like you'll sometimes get spiders out of it. It's 4 mana for a 3/5 reach. That's already pretty good. So
yeah,
I like B+ for Master Weaver.
I do too. A very annoying card, and they almost always have to use something along those lines that you get a trigger. Next is Beast Within, 2 and a green instant, destroy target permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 green beast creature token. These cards stink. You play these in regular limited, even giving them just a 1/1 usually puts a card like this out of range, but giving them a 3/3 is like, you might be upgrading them.
Yeah, I think Beast Within is an F.
I think so too. The flexibility is nice, but it's not worth it. Next is Heroic Intervention. This is 1 and a green for an instant. Permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn.
So if you use this as a 1-for-1, it's just okay. It's not that impressive. So you really want to be using this to like save multiple things. I don't think that scenario comes up that often. So I'm pretty down on Heroic Intervention. We've seen this card a couple times, and I think it's never been better than a D.
Yeah. They did put the Amazing Fantasy 15 artwork on it, which is kind of cool. Next is Hunter's Insight. 2 and a green for an instant. Choose target creature you control. Whenever that creature deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker this turn, draw that many cards. So I don't remember how this plays out. This is from like core set or something, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's very good. Again, I just don't like counting on cards, like card draw especially, to only work when I have something going on the board.
Yeah,
Part of what I want card draw to do is get me out of my bad draws. If it's only good in your good draws, like, what are you doing? And if you're hitting them with a 4/4 or a 3/3, like, look, I'm not saying that there aren't some games where you're like, play a 3-mana 3/3, they just tap out for a 2/2. You're like, okay, next turn attack, and then Hunter's Insight, draw 3, and wow, I made a 3-mana draw 3. But is a 3-mana draw 3 so good that you're willing 4 out of 5 times to have it not quite work? I don't think so. So I wouldn't play Hunter's Insight myself for the most part. Maybe in a deck with all just giant beaters, you could justify it. But I would say it is a D, and maybe you can make it work a little better than that.
Next is Parallel Lives, 3 and a green for an enchantment. If an effect would create 1 or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many tokens instead.
Yeah, that's an F. There's just not enough to...
Even in a build around a set that's supported, it usually doesn't. It's too hard to make it work. Next is Silk Guard. This is green X for an instant. Put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to X target creatures you control. Auras, equipment, and modified creatures you control gain hexproof until end of turn.
This is a card. I hadn't seen this card before. I know it already existed. Where was it from?
I don't know.
It was from like
Neon Dynasty
Commander. There we go. So it's like 2 mana, put a counter on a creature, and it gets hexproof. So it like stops removal spell. Or like more realistically, they're like, kill your thing. You're like, okay, spend 4 mana, save that, but also 2 other things get counters.
Yeah, that's good.
It's not like multi-hexproof matters too much. Though I guess if they Mystic Confluence 3 creatures, it'd be a sick counter. But
blowout.
I think white-green wouldn't mind playing this. It looks like probably like a C+ level combat trick in that deck.
Yeah, you're only getting 1 +1/+1 counter at any rate, right? It's just how many creatures get it. Yeah, it's pretty good.
But hexproof and then maybe winning a fight. Seems okay.
I like it. Next is Tangle, 1 and a green instant, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. Each attacking creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Still no, right? On a fog here.
No, I'm not really that into fog, even if it locks them down for another turn.
Yeah. Nope. F for that one. Next is Iron Spider Civil Warrior, which is, what is this?
This is some weirdo from one of the commander sets.
Alibu Ancient Witness for our commander plane. Listeners, it's 3 white red for a legendary artifact creature golem. It's a 4/5. It says other artifact creatures you control have haste. And whenever one or more artifact creatures you control attack, Iron Spider deals X damage to any target, and you scry X, where X is the number of tapped artifacts you control.
So even with no other artifacts, you pay 5 mana for a 4/5. Next turn you attack and you ping for 1 and scry for 1. That's okay. If you have other artifacts, it's kind of nice. And if you had like the valet, like the 3 mana 1/1 flyer, you're like, play this, attack with the valet, ping for 1, scry 1 immediately. Kind of nice.
Yeah, that is like actually pretty good. It's like, it'd be a C+. And it's a tough fit in this set. Last card is Terminate.
Yeah, it's also red white.
Yeah. Green.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, red black for an instant destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. Yeah, red black.
Yeah, red black removal spell in a color pair of the set. Some nice Carnage art. What's not to love? I would give Terminate like an A-. Like,
it's premium. Premium.
It's just straight premium removal. Yeah. Kill anything, no drawback. Amazing.
Yeah, and it can kill Venom King in black with no. Can't be regenerated.
No regeneration. That's true. Good point.
Taste it. All right, that's going to do it. These are, I have to say, for those of you watching on YouTube, you'll know, and if you have a chance, if you're listening on the podcast, to check out the artwork on these bonus sheet cards. Yeah. It is striking to see this comic book art on these. These are all taken from, real pieces. Like, these weren't made for the cards, and they're awesome. Some of them bring back good memories from when I was young and some of the comic books that I liked and stuff like that. So these are very, very striking cards, and some of them are really good and some of them, not so much, but overall that's it. There's our Spider-Man set review. Luis, any big thoughts on the rares or mythics? I mean, they look pretty strong.
Cool stuff for sure. I am curious to see how often you end up splashing some of these off-color cards. So that'll be kind of interesting to see.
I think that's probably the most interesting thing for us, is trying to navigate the fact that there's really only 5 supported archetypes. And it's like, oh, well, that changes a lot, particularly with the off-color gold cards, which just add a big cost to putting those in your deck. You really have to work hard, particularly in the ones that aren't green. The white-black and the blue-red, those are tough. Green and white red too. Getting those into your list is going to be quite difficult. So that's something to consider. That's going to do it for this episode of the show. If you want to find us on social media, Marshall_LR and Luis is LSV pretty much everywhere. You can find everything related to the show over at lrcast.com, including the Commons and Uncommons review, as well as every episode we've ever done. You can also check out our sponsor, Ultimate Guard, if you need some sleeves or some deck boxes or things like that. And also, we want to say thank you to everybody who supports us on Patreon. That's going to do it for this one. Oh, and don't forget, we've also got the Pro Tour coming up this week. Paul and I will be in the booth covering the draft from Atlanta on Friday morning and Saturday morning. That's when the 2 drafts are. And then we have Top 8 Sunday. So if you want to watch not Spider-Man draft, as we've talked about on the show before, it is going to be Edge of Eternities. But if you'd like to watch that, Paul and I will be in the booth for that as well. It's twitch.tv/magic. That's going to do it for this one. We'll see you next week.
So, Marshall, Mr. Negative reminds me of one of my favorite Pro Tour stories with Reverse the Sands. So that's a rare from Kamigawa. This is Pro Tour London 2004, one of my first Pro Tours. And I drafted this card. It was kind of a pet card. And this is way before people were really as kind of like organized and good at limited. There wasn't as much information out there. Most people thought the card was bad. It's 6 white sorcery, switch life totals with target player. Right. That's all it does.
Okay, that does sound pretty bad, actually. Yeah.
But
8 mana?
Mana burn existed back then.
Oh.
So I drafted this like blue-white-black control deck. Also, the deck, it was not a 3-color format, by the way. And my game plan was just to go end of your turn, mana burn down to 1, untap, reverse the sands. I've never attacked you. Now I'm at 20, you're at 1, and I can usually find a way to win. And I played a game, and so this was round 1, and I play against this Italian guy. And I didn't know him. He was a kind of fun dude to play against. So I win game 1. Game 2, I don't have reverse the sands, but I'm going to lose on probably his next turn. So end of his turn, I burn down to 1, draw, and then concede. He's like, why did you mana burn? I was like, oh, I knew I was dead, so I was just messing around, is what I told him.
Oh, I love this setup.
And then game 3, end of his turn again. This time I have it, though. I go mana burn down to 1, untap, reverse the sand attack, and kill you. And he's just like, what? He just loses it. And he's like, oh my God. And as I walk away, his friend, who was a judge, was also like, it was obvious he had that. Why would he mana burning? He's like his friend who was a judge at the Pro Tour watching and was just giving the guy a hard time for not realizing this, of course, like kind of like lunatic strategy that I was using that wasn't like.
Oh, that's incredible.
It was awesome. And, I think removing mana burn, great call. That being said, I did enjoy reversing the sands when it came down to it.